Yulinka pointed her sword at the sea-quelling god of the chaotic divine race and said, "Come on. If you don't come, I'll kill the chaotic divine race. Alone. You have no choice." Therefore, he didn't dare not to fight. And old fierce-souled opponent was the white-haired old man. The other party's injuries had already recovered. His strength was indeed not as good as old Fierce, but old Fierce's strength was not at its peak. It was not easy to beat him. The white-haired old man glanced at the god-slaying level god from the divine demon forest and said via voice transmission, "That's all we can do. As for Han Fei and that Chiu guy, I'll leave them to you." Swish, swish. The four sea-quelling creatures disappeared almost at the same time, leaving only Han Fei, Chiu Wanren, and the 32 gods of the divine descendants. Han Fei said, "Senior, I'm going to explore the divine demon forest. Just watch." Chiu Wanren said, "Are you looking down on me?" Han Fei said, "Of course not, but there's no need. After all, the other party has 5 god-slaying level powerhouses. They're determined to fight us head on. Or, you can take the 32 gods into your origin star first." Chiu Wanren turned around and shouted, "You heard it? It's not the time for you to erupt yet. If you stay here, you will only be in the way. So open your minds and enter my origin star." Chiu Wanren was bold and prepared to fight for alone. This was equivalent to 4 people challenging the entire Central Sea divine realm. He also thought to himself, fortunately, Han Fei grew extremely fast. Otherwise, even if the crisis of the divine descendants was resolved, it would be almost impossible for them to conquer the Central Sea divine realm. Han Fei rushed into the huge forest area of the divine demon forest. When all those dirty tricks were meaningless, the only thing left was the frontal battlefield. In the end, strength spoke louder than words. This was the final state of cultivation. The god-slaying level powerhouse from the divine demon forest roared, "Leave Han Fei to me. I'll leave that Chiu guy to you." Boom. Tens of thousands of lightning marks instantly swept across the forest. Whoosh. Within millions of kilometers, lightning and fire spread, directly shattering the forest. The powerhouse from the divine demon forest was shocked by Han Fei's strength. Although he knew that Han Fei was definitely not weak and couldn't be underestimated as a great monarch, he didn't expect him to be so terrifying. Sea-quelling god? The power of this blow really frightened the strong master of the divine demon forest. The latter immediately retreated. At the same time, the entire divine demon forest began to sway and tremble. The strength of this strong master of the divine demon forest quickly rose. Swish. In the blink of an eye, the strong master of the divine demon forest gathered the power of the divine demon forest and used the divinity of the leaves to block Han Fei's sword. Bam! 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 The explosion swept in all directions, and the sword light flashed through the rolling grass and leaves. Puff! One of the divine demon forest powerhouse's arms was cut off. Source power burned at the wound, trying to rush into the body of the divine demon forest. Powerhouse. How is that possible? The latter was shocked. With the power of the divine demon forest, his combat power could barely enter the sea-quelling god level. Why was he defeated in one slash? The corners of Han Fei's mouth curled up slightly. This slash is called shattering. It can shatter all kinds of strange techniques and point at the target. You can't block it. You can only fight me with all your strength. Even so, so what? You can't kill me in the divine demon forest. One of the god-slaying level powerhouse's arms was cut off, but this was the divine demon forest after all. With the power of the divine demon forest, the other party immediately destroyed the burning of source power and grew another arm. Really? A cold smile appeared on Han Fei's face. The wheel of life appeared behind him. As the wheel of life spun, all vitality within millions of kilometers was crazily sucked into the divine wheel. And all kinds of demon plants and creatures within millions of kilometers were withering at a visible speed. Han Fei said disdainfully, "The divine demon forest is very big, but if I want to destroy it, how can you stop me?" Boom! Han Fei stomped, and billions of sword streams swept across. The trees that were already withering exploded one after another. The ground veins here were constantly impacted by the sword wanderers or rumbled. For a moment, the divine demon forest shook. Under the violent shaking, huge cracks quickly destroyed the ground veins of the divine demon forest. On one hand, Han Fei destroyed the ground veins of the divine demon forest wantonly. On the other hand, Han Fei didn't stop and fought the strong master of the divine demon forest in the blink of an eye. Both of them used external powers to upgrade themselves to the sea-quelling god level. But the difference was that Han Fei was a true sea-quelling god and used source power. As for the powerhouse from the divine demon forest, his combat power exceeded the 5 million shackle too, but he didn't have the conditions to fuse his strength and soul power. Therefore, as soon as the two collided, the body of the powerhouse from the divine demon forest was pierced through and shattered on the spot. If it weren't for the demon plant-type creature's extremely good escape technique, he would have died. However, even though he escaped, Han Fei still forcibly stripped a lot of the other party's vitality. Besides, he was still in this forest. How could he escape? Of course, he didn't dare to escape. Otherwise, with the destructive power of Han Fei, it would only take him a moment to destroy half of the divine demon forest. As soon as the strong master of the divine demon forest appeared, Han Fei appeared in front of him again. The power of his punch crushed the energy barrier condensed by the surrounding forest. In the next moment, Han Fei used his hand as a knife and pierced through the strong master of the divine demon forest again. Ha ha ha. Han Fei, do you really think our divine demon forest doesn't have any means to keep you in check? The man was not shocked, but delighted to be pierced by Han Fei. Light curtains suddenly rose from the ground, and billions of brilliance enveloped this place. A copper bell clanged. Han Fei felt an invisible force trying to invade his soul. The cultivator from the divine demon forest who was caught by Han Fei took the initiative to explode his body again and escape. His body appeared outside the brilliance. He laughed. Han Fei, this is the soul death bell. It's refined from the heavenly Tao death bell. It can cut off the soul and break your secret technique. Once you can't use the power of the sea-quelling god, let's see if you can continue to be so arrogant. Oh, really? Suddenly, a calm voice appeared behind this person. This powerhouse from the divine demon forest was shocked and immediately prepared to escape again. However, this time, he couldn't activate this technique at all. Pfft. In the next moment, chains of life laws clasped his limbs, neck, and waist, crazily extracting his vitality. How is that possible? In the next moment, the body trapped by the soul death bell instantly disappeared. This person was shocked. How can the soul death bell be useless? It's impossible for it to be useless. Even if you have the dual body divine technique, you'll definitely be affected by the soul death bell. How can you escape safely? Han Fei's figure appeared in front of this person. Holding the concealing divine seal in one hand, he smiled and said, because the one inside is not the current me. Otherwise, do you really think I would have been tempted by you to go deeper into the divine demon forest? A moment ago, when old fears told him that countless strong masters had gathered in the divine demon forest, Han Fei had fished out his old body. He was not stupid. Since these people from the Central Sea divine realm were forced to fight head-on, how could they not have any means? Otherwise, once the divine demon forest was broken, the other families would also be broken. Therefore, there must be a trap in this battle. It was for this reason that Han Fei used his old body as bait and hid his original body with the concealing divine seal. Concealing divine seal? The body of the cultivator from the divine demon forest was rapidly decaying. He stared at the concealing divine seal. It was this thing that covered this place and severed his connection with the divine demon forest. Therefore, his death substitution technique failed. However, they had guessed that the concealing divine seal might fall into the hands of Han Fei or someone, but they didn't expect it to reappear in such a way. Han Fei said casually, I know that, since you have a death replacement technique, your current body shouldn't be completely your original body. But it doesn't matter. I'll kill your original body first. When I sweep through all the enemies later, I'll kill all of you. Bang! Han Fei slapped this person, extracted all his vitality, and smashed him into powder. As Han Fei expected, there were no great Dao cracks or heavenly Dao death nails. This person still had part of his body left. Han Fei smiled contemptuously and grabbed the soul death bell in the sky with one hand. It turned out to be an ultra-quality nature spiritual treasure, not a supreme nature treasure. I thought it was a supreme nature treasure. However, I happen to lack a nature spiritual treasure to sacrifice to my knife. I'll use you for it then. Buzz. No matter how the soul death bell trembled, Han Fei didn't care. He injected source power into it and cut off the soul brand of the powerhouse from the divine demon forest. In the next moment, with a thought from Han Fei, countless fragments of the blood sky blade floated in the air. These fragments immediately attached to the soul death bell, producing all kinds of ear-piercing sounds. The blood sky blade couldn't be revived until it ate a spiritual treasure of the same level. Han Fei didn't know if the soul death bell, that exceeded the level of the blood sky blade, could still be swallowed. But now it seemed that the blood sky blade could also eat ultra-quality nature spiritual treasures. The soul death bell was attached to the blood sky blade's fragments and couldn't get rid of them at all. After all, the blood sky blade was just a weapon and didn't have a soul body, so the soul death bell's attack was meaningless to the blood sky blade's fragments. After Han Fei let go, the soul death bell immediately escaped with the blood sky blade. However, Han Fei didn't care. When the blood sky blade swallowed the soul death bell, it would come back sooner or later. The corners of Han Fei's mouth curled up slightly. At this moment, the powerhouse from the divine demon forest hadn't died yet, and within the range of the concealing divine seal, Han Fei hadn't been exposed either. Holding the seal, Han Fei turned into a black fog and quietly approached Xiao Wanren's battlefield. On the other side, everyone was fighting fiercely. Chiu Wanren was bathed in blood. The 4 god-slaying level powerhouses besieged him, and the 12 gods worked together to set up the soul-subduing technique. Chiu Wanren's body was tattered, and he could barely protect himself with a treasure bottle. However, even so, Chiu Wanren was still a tough guy. He only targeted one person and attacked with endless soul-killing techniques, making the person in a worse state than him. While the 5 of them were fighting, suddenly, 3 of the 12 gods who had set up the soul-subduing killing technique exploded. Before the heavenly Tao roared, a sword light appeared out of thin air and instantly attacked a big spider at the god-slaying level. The spider was shocked. From the death of the gods to the appearance of this blow, it was too fast for him to react. Quelling god? Puff. The sword of shattering instantly crushed this person, directly destroying his body and soul. Rumble. Knock, knock, knock. The great Tao crack and the heavenly Tao death knell sounded at the same time, indicating the death of a god-slaying level powerhouse. As soon as this sword appeared, the other 3 god-slaying level powerhouses who were fighting Chiu Wanren immediately retreated. But how could Chiu Wanren be willing? He roared, soul assault, soul weaving technique. Chiu Wanren actually controlled a god-slaying level powerhouse from the light city with a soul technique, causing the powerhouse to lose consciousness for a moment. This was similar to Han Fei's void-stealing technique. Seeing this, how could Han Fei let it go? This was simply a dish delivered to his door. He immediately turned his source power into a knife and crushed over, killing this person in one blow. Rumble. Knock, knock, knock. The great Tao crack appeared and the heavenly Tao death knell sounded again. The 2 god-slaying level powerhouses who had fled in panic were no longer willing to fight. Han Fei's appearance far exceeded their expectations. In their calculations, it was impossible for Han Fei to appear. This was because the divine demon forest had already set up a trap for him. With Han Fei's personality, it was impossible for him not to enter the trap. However, why was there no warning at all when Han Fei came out of the divine demon forest? They were shocked. There was no warning, which only meant that the one from the divine demon forest had been killed. They didn't know how he was killed. But this was the only explanation. Besides, the strength Han Fei had just shown made the 2 of them even more certain of this. Han Fei was already a quelling god. Even if he launched a sneak attack, only a quelling god-level powerhouse could kill a god slaying level powerhouse in one blow. Only with absolute strength could he kill so powerfully. Seeing this, the 2 of them immediately roared, "Let's go." They knew that they had no chance on the divine demon forest side. 3 of the 5 god-slaying level powerhouses had already died. Unless other quelling gods appeared, it was impossible for this battle to continue. But if there were still quelling gods, they should have appeared long ago. Since they hadn't appeared yet, it meant that something had happened in the Sea of Stars, and the strong masters of the various races couldn't come back. In that case, they had to make plans early. However, the battle here had reached this point. How could they leave as they pleased? Old Fierce's voice suddenly echoed, "Since you've come, stay." As soon as he said so, Han Fei saw that the law enforcement divine chain was flying towards him. With his current vision, he saw that the white-haired old man was chasing Old Fierce as if he wanted to stop him. Han Fei immediately understood Old Fierce's intention. He was asking him to Block the white-haired old man. Han Fei took the law enforcement divine chain with a swish, and source power instantly filled it. Han Fei used the law enforcement divine chain as a knife again and slashed at the white-haired old man with all his strength. Get lost. Seeing this, the white-haired old man roared. You're the one who should get lost. Han Fei had already slashed out, but at the same time, he felt infinite pressure, as if all his bones were trembling. Although he had the combat power of a sea-quelling god, he was the weakest one among the sea-quelling gods, with less than 6 million combat power. Han Fei estimated that this white-haired old man's combat power was at least 10 million, at least twice his. Therefore, Han Fei knew that he couldn't stop the other party with this blow. But he just needed to buy some time for Old Fierce. He was determined to destroy the Central Sea Divine Realm in this battle. If they let these two god-slaying level powerhouses escape now, it would probably be difficult to kill them later. Clang. Unfortunately, this slash was blocked by the old man's two swords. The old man created a projection and deceived Han Fei. In the next moment, it flashed past Han Fei's eyes. Old man, if you dare to let those two go, I'll wipe out your entire race. Han Fei failed to stop the old man in the end, but his full-strength blow managed to block the other party for half a second and even forced the old man to use two swords, buying some time for Old Fierce. Old Fierce's speed was much faster than the old man's. In that short moment, he had already caught up with one of them and shattered the god-slaying level powerhouse with a claw, not allowing the other party to resist at all. Seeing this, Han Fei couldn't help but click his tongue. Old Fierce hadn't recovered his peak combat power yet. What if he returned to his peak? In the blink of an eye, Old Fierce was entangled by the old man again. Han Fei still wanted to chase him, but the double swords automatically slashed at him. Bloody hell. Han Fei was helpless. After all, it was a supreme nature treasure. Even if his fist light had enveloped it, he still couldn't resist it. Boom, boom, boom. All of a sudden, a hurried and murderous divine sound swept over from afar. In the end, the god-slaying level powerhouse who was about to run crashed into the murderous music. Puff. 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 In the blink of an eye, this person was dripping with blood. The man shouted, "Creation void spiritual drum, how dare you betray your master?" The music of killing immediately became even more intense, and a divine voice sounded. It was your chaotic divine race who betrayed the myriad races first, causing me to almost help the villain and become an ominous accomplice. It's better to die by my hands than by that guy. Boom, boom, boom. Even fifth senior brother couldn't do anything to the creation void spiritual drum. Old Han could even use it to deal with the dominator level ominous, which showed how powerful it was. The god-slaying level powerhouse of the chaotic divine race was torn apart by thousands of divine sounds in the blink of an eye. Seeing this, Han Fei immediately extracted the vitality of the void. Rumble. Knock, knock, knock. Now except for the one from the divine demon forest, the four god-slaying level powerhouses had all died. Han Fei couldn't be bothered with the remaining 9 gods. Qiu Wanren directly released 32 gods of the divine descendants. With such a huge gap, it was impossible for them to escape. Han Fei looked at the creation void spiritual drum from a distance, and the latter snorted. "I'm not helping you. I'm just here to clean up the traitors." Han Fei sneered. "Since we're here to clean up the traitors, get rid of the sea-quelling god." The creation void spiritual drum snorted. If you want to get rid of him, fight him yourself. Han Fei was speechless, thinking to himself, this creation void spiritual drum is really cunning. It's easy for him to launch a sneak attack on a god slaying level powerhouse, but it was a different story to sneak attack a sea quelling god. He knew it was tricky, so he quitted and slipped away. But on the surface, he made it look like I've owed him a favor. Han Fei was speechless. He was too lazy to pay attention to this guy. In short, he had won today's battle. Unfortunately, he couldn't kill all the powerhouses. At this moment, the two swords that stopped Han Fei flew away on their own. They must have been summoned away. Han Fei didn't chase them, mainly because he couldn't beat them. Seeing the swords leave, Qiu Wanren stepped forward and said, "Heal me." While summoning the healing divine light, Han Fei was slightly surprised to find that the healing divine light also carried the power of divinity. Qiu Wanren wasn't surprised. Instead, he said thoughtfully, "I'm a little puzzled now. Do you think these people know that they can't resist it?" Han Fei nodded. "Of course. My senior brothers from the Void Temple haven't taken action yet." Qiu Wanren asked in confusion, "Then what's the point of these two sea quelling gods guarding the Central Sea Divine Realm?" Han Fei shook his head. "There must be some secret behind this. But it's obvious that they can't let go of this matter yet, so we should still have time. Let's go to flatten the Divine Demon Forest." Han Fei estimated that Old Fierce and Yueling, Ku Guang, couldn't kill a sea quelling god-level powerhouse one-on-one. At this moment, Han Fei and Qiu Wanren went straight to the core of the Divine Demon Forest. And the core of the Divine Demon Forest, just like the ancient demon race, was in a void crack. The reason why these super forces all liked void rifts was that void rifts were safer. Once a large array was set up in them, it would be difficult to break. And there were as many as 3 void cracks in the Divine Demon Forest. However, Han Fei didn't seem to need to choose which one to go, because the god-slaying level powerhouse from the Divine Demon Forest who had escaped earlier had already blocked in front of one of the void rifts. Han Fei said casually, "If you die again, you won't be able to revive." The powerhouse from the Divine Demon Forest said resolutely, "Han Fei, the winner takes all. You win this battle. Tell me, what price do you want our Divine Demon Forest to pay for you to let go of our race?" Han Fei sneered. "Do you think you're qualified to negotiate with me now?" The man's face turned cold. "Yes, I have something that is enough to protect the entire Divine Demon Forest, provided that you, Han Fei, are a man of your word." "Oh?" Han Fei narrowed his eyes slightly. "Does it matter why you stayed in the Central Sea Divine Realm?" The man stared at Han Fei. "That's right. If you want to attack me, even if my soul is destroyed, I won't let you search my soul. Believe me, they won't tell you such a secret." Qiu Wanren said, "Don't be tricked." Han Fei smiled. "It's impossible to release everyone in your Divine Demon Forest, but I can guarantee that I won't attack anyone below the sea Establishment Realm. Those above the Sea Establishment Realm will be subject to the attacks of the human race and the divine descendants in the same realm for a day so that we can vent the hatred in our hearts. The Sea Establishers who are still alive after this day can stay in the Sea Realm. Those in the Sky Opening Realm will all be exiled and can't stay in the Sea Realm, or they will be killed without mercy. And you must die." Han Fei The powerhouse from the divine demon forest gritted his teeth and seemed to be hesitating, because Han Fei's so-called one-day attack was too terrifying. If it were just 80 million humans, he would have agreed without hesitation. However, there were still 8 million divine descendants. Although there were few gods among the divine descendants, the monarch's combat power was extremely terrifying. If they were really subject to the one-day attack, it could be expected that the strong masters of the divine demon Lin Fan would definitely be wiped out. It was impossible for anyone to survive. Only a small number of sky openers and sea establishers might survive. This price was still too high. The man's expression was ugly. What's the difference between this and annihilating our divine demon forest? Alas, you can't say that. Think about our human race. Thanks to you, even our children had to go to the battlefield to kill the enemy and fight the sea demon tide. You should be grateful that I can keep the demon plants below the sea establishment realm. This person hesitated for a few seconds. This matter is beyond your imagination. I want you to spare all the sea establishers in the divine demon forest. As for the sky openers, they can all be expelled from the sea realm. Han Fei said impatiently, do you think I'm here to deliver you from misery? I'm indeed a little interested in the secrets you mentioned, but it doesn't mean I really care. I'll give you 10 seconds to consider. I'll conquer the major forces in the Central Sea Divine Realm one by one. No matter what secrets there are, I don't believe I can't find them. It's just a matter of time. 9. 8. 7. The cultivator from the divine demon forest had a fierce internal struggle. Although he was not a good person, he really couldn't bear it since it involved countless creatures of his race. Finally, when Han Fei counted to 1, the man finally said dejectedly, I agree. Han Fei's eyelids twitched, and he was overjoyed. Suddenly, he felt that the void barrier was broken, and a sword light broke through the void barrier and slashed at the strong master of the divine demon forest. This sword came so fast that even Qiu Wanren couldn't react in time. Han Fei's combat power was still at its peak. He instantly appeared behind the powerhouse of the divine demon forest and pointed his finger at the sword. Although the sword of shattering was strong, it was mainly good at attacking the enemy head-on. The only one who could catch up with the speed of this sword was carefree roaming. Bang! Crack! However, the other party's sword was too powerful. When the two collided, Han Fei knew that he couldn't block it at all, so he immediately took the initiative to activate the Great Tao of Life Replacement and used his invincible state. However, even so, under the power of the other party's sword, his invincible state was shattered in less than half a second. This was the second time his invincible state had been shattered. This time, the moment his invincible state was broken, Han Fei discovered the reason. The essence of the Great Tao of Life Replacement was to borrow the Great Tao cultivated by a cultivator and push this Great Tao to its peak state in an extremely short period of time. It was precisely because of this that the invincible state of the Great Tao of Life Replacement could only last for 3 seconds. However, the Great Tao of Life Replacement was still a Great Tao. The power it used was still the power of heaven and earth, but this slash of the sea quelling god was activated with source power. Because it was too strong, it directly broke the invincible state. To put it more simply, the power of the sea quelling god had exceeded the limits of the Great Tao of Life Replacement. However, Han Fei didn't only have one life. As soon as his invincible state was destroyed, it immediately reappeared. Having his invincible state broken 3 times in a row, Han Fei finally blocked this sword. Han Fei grinned ferociously. Are you trying to silence him? The moment this sword appeared, Yulinka appeared, but in the end, she failed to catch up with this sword. Immediately, Yulinka activated a secret technique, 12 flying dance girls, and 12 divine techniques, sealing the sea-quelling god in the blink of an eye. Yulinka was relieved to see that the sword was suppressed by Han Fei. Han Fei was slightly relieved. Look, these are your so-called allies. In order to shut you up, he'd rather kill you. But don't worry. Some people of the divine demon forest will be spared. But this chaotic divine race, hee. This person's expression was complicated. In the end, he sighed. Yes. Lin Xian, do you know what you are doing? In the void, a voice roared, as if calling the name of this powerhouse from the divine demon forest. Upon hearing this, Han Fei immediately shouted angrily, if you say another word, my next stop will be the chaotic divine race. I will definitely wipe out the entire chaotic divine race. It was fine if the sea-quelling god didn't take action, but this time, it further confirmed Han Fei's judgment. In addition to the primordial purple gate, there were also secrets in the central sea divine realm. Because of this secret, they had to stay in the sea realm. In that case, Han Fei had a direction this time. The concealing divine seal in Han Fei's hand covered this place, not to prevent others from seeing, but to prevent others from hearing. Han Fei said, you should believe in the concealment ability of the concealing divine seal. The chaotic divine race will definitely follow in the footsteps of the ancient demon race. I can tell you this clearly now. But your divine demon forest can at least have some seeds survive. If the myriad races can win this ominous battle, the divine demon forest still has a chance to rise again. But I guarantee that the chaotic divine race won't have this hope. Lin Xian's expression changed as if he had made an important decision. He heaved a long sigh. The chaotic divine race, the ancient demon race, the divine demon forest, the heavenly pearl insect valley, and the light city are your targets for revenge, right? Han Fei nodded. That's right. I originally wanted to wipe out all these 5 forces. In addition to these worlds, some large forces in the Central Sea divine realm, such as the Fist sect, the Flying Immortal Tower, the Mirage sect, and the Illusory Sky sect, will also pay a certain price. Lin Xian said calmly, add the Primordial Divine Academy. Primordial Divine Academy? Han Fei frowned slightly. Although he had a conflict with the Primordial Divine Academy, that was when he was in the South Sea Divine Realm. In the 100-Year War in the God-Fiend Sea, there didn't seem to be anyone from the Primordial Divine Academy. Besides, wasn't this just a school? Lin Xian said, in addition to the 5 forces you mentioned, there's also the Primordial Divine Academy. The other forces are really plotting to snatch the luck of your human race. Oh? Do you mean that your real purpose for attacking the human race is not to snatch the luck of the human race? Lin Xian sneered and then shook his head. The recovery of the human races luck has just begun. Even if we want to harvest, it won't be now. Without you. Do you think the human race can resist any of our forces in another 10,000 years? Han Fei narrowed his eyes slightly. Continue. Han Fei's eyes flickered. Is the overall luck of the 6 lineages disappearing? Han Fei said, of course I don't Lin Xian took a deep breath and said, because the ancient divine vine has reappeared. Wait, what do you mean? Han Fei was a little stunned, and Qiu Wanren's eyes widened. Are you talking about the ancient divine vine that gave birth to the 6 lineages? Lin Xian smiled palely. Yes. It's the ancient divine vine that reappeared in the world, and it's in the sea realm. Buzz. Han Fei's head was buzzing. After a few seconds, he said, so, do you mean that the divine vine is retracting the luck of the 6 lineages? It's not retraction, but reshaping. Reshaping? Lin Xian's eyes were cold. 6 more fruits grew on the ancient divine vine. If I've guessed right, these 6 fruits are 6 seeds. If they can give birth, 6 figures comparable to the top powerhouses of the first 6 lineages will reappear. Han Fei was lost for words. Is the ancient divine vine crazy? There may only be tens of thousands of years left in the infinite ocean. What's the use of him giving birth to strong masters at this time? Besides, even if the ancient divine vine is going to give birth to new strong masters, why are you slaughtering our human race? Because we have to accelerate the ripening. Lin Xian shouted in a low voice, because of our previous calculations, this ancient divine vine may not really mature until hundreds of thousands or even millions of years later. Furthermore, its maturing can't be catalyzed with time acceleration because it needs supplies. For example, the luck of the 6 lineages, the luck of other races, and the blood of the gods. This is why we attacked the human race. Han Fei's eyes turned cold. So, over the years, it's to provide nutrients for that thing that the Central Sea divine realm has been unscrupulous and even lawless? Lin Xian said, after all, the ancient divine vine only gave birth to 6 lineages. But how many races are there in the infinite ocean? Therefore, it's completely possible for us to make it mature before the ominous army arrives. And? Han Fei frowned. Then you expect these 6 so-called strong masters to deal with the ominous? No. Qiu Wanren suddenly said, they want to possess them. Han Fei suddenly looked at Qiu Wanren and then at Lin Xian, only to find that the other party was calm. That's right. Therefore, only the 6 forces of us know about this. If we obtain the origin divine embryos, we can all become peerless powerhouses like the first human emperor. Think about it, who wouldn't be tempted? Unfortunately, your human race has risen in the end. Lin Xian looked up at the sea of stars. I didn't believe until a moment ago that no one would return. It turns out that our lineages are also sacrifices. Han Fei seemed to have thought of something. Therefore, you plan to overthrow the human race to accelerate the ripening of the ancient divine vine. Now that the human race is strong and the divine descendants have revived, you know that you can't beat us. Therefore, you were treated as abandoned pawns. No, you'll be used as nutrients to feed the ancient divine vine in the place of the human race? Lin Xian grinned. Otherwise, why would I tell you such a secret? Lin Xian's eyes were cold. The strong are ruthless. Even our own kind are scheming against each other. The human race has risen and will slaughter the Central Sea, which will definitely increase the speed of the divine vine's growth by 10,000 times. In the end, whether it's you or me, we're just chess pieces. Han Fei asked, where is the ancient divine vine? Chaotic divine race. Han Fei's eyes turned cold. It was the chaotic divine race again. Sure enough. None of what Jiang Bai said in the past was true. He even asked him to hand over the demon purification pot and they would withdraw from the battle of the divine descendants. Bullsh *T, this was just a trick that this race often used. The energy in Lin Xian's body surged, which was a sign of self-destruction. He said, Han Fei, since we're enemies, I admit defeat. But I hope you keep your word and leave a chance of survival for my race. Han Fei said proudly, I will do what I promised you. Suddenly, Han Fei seemed to think of something and hurriedly asked, where are the remaining primordial purple gates? Which forces are they in? Earth veins. Boom. Lin Xian chose to annihilate himself, but unfortunately, he was annihilated too quickly and couldn't completely answer Han Fei's question. In the ground veins? Although he didn't finish answering, at least the primordial purple gate in the divine demon forest shouldn't be difficult to find. Qiu Wanren said, if what he said is true, won't we become other people's chess pieces if we keep fighting like this? Han Fei said, let's see who this other person is. Who wants to possess these 6 fruits? In short, it can't be Lin Xian and the others. He's probably at least a sea-quelling god, right? Qiu Wanren asked, so, are we still slaughtering the divine demon forest? Han Fei was silent for a few seconds. Yes. Han Fei put away the concealing divine seal and immediately said, Senior Brother Lei Heng, Senior Brother 6 God, if 5th Senior Brother is here, you must not let the 2 sea-quelling gods of the sea realm leave. Less than half an hour after Lin Xian died, the 2 sea-quelling gods who were fighting Old Fierce and Yueling, Kujing retreated. In the end, neither of them could defeat the other in a battle at the sea-quelling god level. Except for the 2 of them, the others had all died. It was clearly meaningless for them to continue fighting. Half a day later, Han Fei found the primordial purple gate at the core hub of the ground veins of the divine demon forest. He had once searched with the vast ocean navigator, but it couldn't point to the primordial purple gate, which meant that the primordial purple gate itself was a treasure, comparable to a supreme nature treasure. This time, Han Fei didn't try to push it open, but let Qiu Wanren push it. Because he was also very curious about what was in the primordial purple gate. Even if this thing was used for cultivation, he had to know how to use it. Sure enough, when it was not Han Fei who pushed the primordial purple gate, the primordial purple gate was immediately pushed open by Qiu Wanren. Everyone saw that there was a purple mist in the door. Apart from that, they couldn't see anything else. However, surprisingly, although the door was filled with purple mist, it didn't dissipate much. Only a little purple mist would flow out. Qiu Wanren's face changed slightly. If you want to open this door, you have to be at least at the god-slaying level. It can be seen that this thing doesn't open often. Yulinka said, I tried to absorb the power of this purple mist. It can neutralize the source power and even slowly transform into source power. Old Fierce said, let me try. Old Fierce opened his mouth and sucked, and the purple mist that spread out was swallowed by him. Everyone looked at Old Fierce. After waiting for a moment, Old Fierce suddenly opened his eyes. It's indeed primordial purple. Qi. The energy is very gentle, more stable than source power, and not easy to collapse. Unfortunately, the primordial purple qi that dissipates is too little. Otherwise, it would return me to my peak in 3 years at most. Really? Han Fei was surprised. Old Fierce's injuries were actually not a big problem. He had basically recovered. However, the problem of strength was a lack of resources. It was like shattering the original cultivation and recultivating. It required time and resources. And the primordial purple chi seemed to be able to completely replace source power. Han Fei said, "Let's try going in." They all nodded. No one had come into contact with the primordial purple gate, so no one knew what was going on inside. Qiu Wanren said, "I'll go in first. If anything happens, you can still continue to sweep the sea realm." Old Fierce hummed. "Humph, don't die inside." Qiu Wanren sneered. "I won't die even if you die." As Qiu Wanren stepped into the primordial purple gate, in the next moment, he was rushed out by a primordial purple chi. The terrifying energy directly cracked Qiu Wanren's body, and his river of life trembled as if it would break free at any time. Puff. Qiu Wanren kept coughing blood. Han Fei immediately stabilized his river of life and summoned healing divine brilliance to heal him. Han Fei and the other two were shocked. They knew Qiu Wanren's strength. If it were just this primordial purple chi, it wouldn't be able to almost kill him in an instant, right? Old Fierce immediately swallowed the primordial purple chi that pushed Qiu Wanren out. Yulinka directly sealed this place and blocked the energy impact with Old Fierce. Han Fei asked, "What's it like in the door?" Cough, cough. Qiu Wanren seemed to still have a lingering fear. He said, "As soon as I entered, I felt a huge force pulling me, as if it wanted to suck me in. Then I seemed to hit a barrier and came out. Everything happened too quickly. At that moment, I almost thought I was going to die." Han Fei asked, "Didn't you say that the primordial purple gate can be used for cultivation?" Qiu Wanren said, "I heard of it, but I haven't personally experienced this kind of thing after all. How can I know if it's true or not?" Old Fierce said, "In the primordial era, there was indeed a legend of the primordial purple gate. It said that in the chaotic era, the first human emperor cultivated with this. Many people know it." Yulinka said, "But from the looks of it, it doesn't seem like it can be used for cultivation. Does it mean that only human emperors can enter it and use it for cultivation?" Han Fei was eager to try, and Qiu Wanren hurriedly stopped him. "If you want to try after you finish fighting the Central Sea Divine Realm. What if you're sucked in and can't come out? Then we'll be stuck midway in the Central Sea Divine Realm battle." Han Fei nodded slightly. "But if I touch this thing, it seems to disappear. Can you try taking it away?" Old Fierce, "Let me." Old Fierce grabbed the edge of the primordial purple gate with both hands and unleashed his divine power. Everyone felt that the earth was shaking and the mountains were shaking. As if an earthquake, countless ground veins cracked. But the primordial purple gate didn't move at all. Old Fierce could only stop. "I can't take it away. If I use more strength, the ground veins here will probably all collapse." Yulinka said, "Little junior brother, try touching this thing again. I think this might be something that only the human emperor can inherit. That's all we can do." Han Fei tried to grab the primordial purple gate, but just like last time, as soon as Han Fei touched the primordial purple gate, the entire door disappeared with a swish. Han Fei hurriedly checked himself, but he still didn't find any traces. Han Fei was stunned. "It's gone again." Qiu Wanren recovered a little and said casually, "So be it. It seems that this thing indeed belongs to your human race. Others probably won't be able to use it." Han Fei shook his head. "Not necessarily. If it's useless, why is the Primordial purple gate here? Qiu Wanren said, anyway, there are still 4 more primordial purple gates. Let's study them when we find the last one. Since the primordial purple gate had disappeared, they had nothing to study. Outside, the 3 void cracks in the divine demon forest were broken by Han Fei and the others in a moment. 80 million human beings and 8 million divine descendants all attacked. However, this time, Han Fei ordered that they would only attack for a day, which fulfilled his promise to Lin Xian. However, this day was still a disaster for the strong masters of the divine demon forest. Firstly, all the monarchs were cleared. This was beyond doubt. How magnificent the divine demon forest once was, how miserable it was now. Almost half of the sky openers and sea establishers were killed or injured. More importantly, because of Han Fei's law of life, the human race and the divine descendants only had 1,000 or 2% of casualties, which made countless strong masters in the divine demon forest despair. Of course, although Han Fei had fulfilled his promise to Lin Xian, he certainly wouldn't let go of the endless resources of the divine demon forest. Besides, the sky-opening realm powerhouses of the divine demon forest had all been exiled to the Sea of Stars. Once they entered the Sea of Stars, it was none of Han Fei's business how many people could survive. After cleaning this battlefield for 2 days, he found countless resources, which exceeded 30 million refined stars. Be *starred, have the people from the Central Sea Divine Realm just been transferring resources in the past 300 years? Such a super force should have had at least billions of refined stars. Qiu Wanren mumbled. He seemed to be a little arrogant. He didn't even care about 30 million refined stars. Han Fei didn't care. It's good enough that they can leave 30 million behind. What do you know? The resources in the sea realm are not infinite. These people have transferred so many resources away. It's like drying the pool to fish. It won't do the sea realm any good. Han Fei said, don't shout. With more strong masters, there will naturally be more refined stars. The Sea of Stars is almost doomed. Who cares about these resources? Old Fierce snorted. That's right. Old brat, you'd better think about how to make a breakthrough after this battle. You're already so old, but I've never seen any god-slaying level cultivators as embarrassing as you. Wu Jiuxiong, shut your damn mouth if you don't know how to speak. If I hadn't created my own Tao and had difficulty in developing it, I could have flattened this mere Central Sea Divine Realm with one hand. Keep bragging. While the two bickered, Yulinka asked, where are we going next? Han Fei said, to catch the bandits, we have to catch their leader first. If we take down the chaotic divine race first, it'll only be a matter of time before we take down the other lineages of the Central Sea Divine Realm. Qiu Wanren asked, what about the 2 sea-quelling gods? Han Fei said leisurely, if someone really used the divine demon forest and the ancient demon race as nutrients to nourish the ancient divine vine, the real mastermind must appear in this last battle, right? Otherwise, wouldn't he have raised the ancient divine vine for nothing? Han Fei looked at the void. Senior brother Lei Heng, senior brother Six God. Stop watching the show. I really can't handle the sea-quelling gods. Boom. A lightning mark appeared, and senior brother Lei Heng finally appeared. Ha ha ha. Little junior brother, you've finally spoken. Han Fei curled his lips. I'm just a great monarch after all. Heh. Everyone was speechless. You know you are only a great monarch? Buzz. A wormhole appeared in the void, and senior brother 6, God, slowly walked out of the wormhole and said in a childish voice, senior sister Shunla means, to keep the two sea-quelling gods and exile them to the battlefield to atone for their crimes. What about the ancient divine vine? Senior brothers, you should know about this, right? Lei Hing shook his head. Well, you may not believe it, but we just found out. 100,000 years ago. Just 100,000 years ago. I even made a deal with that person from the divine demon forest for this. Senior brother 6 God said, it's already very short. In fact, very few people in the entire Sea of Stars know about this. The reason why Lin Xian knows is that he is a powerful sacrifice. He once had a chance to advance to the sea-quelling god, but for the sake of the ancient divine vine, he has been stuck at the god-slaying level. And we know that it's mainly because the massacre of the divine descendants 100,000 years ago in the Central Sea divine realm aroused eldest senior brother's suspicion. Han Fei was surprised. Is there anything suspicious about that? Senior brother 6 God said, little junior brother, you can think about it. You just got the creation divine prison recently. The people in the Central Sea divine realm didn't know that the creation divine prison would reappear. Nor did they expect the blood of all gods to reappear. But 100,000 years ago, they attacked the divine descendants. Why? If they wanted to seize luck, they could have quietly destroyed many small races. Why did they attack the divine descendants? Yulinka said, well, we suspected it too, but the final conclusion was that the other party failed to snatch the demon purification pot, so they tried to kill us. Senior brother 6 God said, there has to be a limit even if they wanted to vent anger. The demon purification pot disappeared in the end, but they still launched a divine war and swept through the divine descendants at the expense of countless casualties. The deeper meaning is worth deliberating. Han Fei raised his eyebrows. Since eldest senior brother already knew, why didn't he take any action? Lei Hing said lazily, why do you think Bug and I have been staying in the sea realm? Han Fei was suddenly enlightened. It turned out that eldest senior brother had already made arrangements. Even without him, senior brother Lei Hing and senior brother 6 God would probably clean up the mess. Of course, eldest senior brother might have another meaning, which was to see who was behind all this. Han Fei asked, is this Jiang Taichu's trap? No. If it was Jiang Taichu's trap, why would he have bothered to swallow the ominous? He could just possess the new fruits. The temptation of being as powerful as the first human emperor is probably no worse than swallowing the ominous. Senior brother 6 God said regretfully, this person doesn't seem to exist at all. He hasn't shown up at all. Even eldest senior brother doesn't know who he is. Han Fei asked, will it be related to the 3 temples? Senior brother 6 God still shook his head. No, we have excluded countless forces and strong masters, including your parents. We've traced back from the Age of Gods to the primordial era, but it's really difficult to find who would and could set up this trap. What's the significance of this trap? Qiu Wanren interjected, I find it strange too. Even if the ancient divine vine really rebuilt 6 lineages and gave birth to 6 peerless powerhouses, comparable to the first human emperor, what then? What can this change? Repel the ominous? I don't think so. Senior brother 6 God nodded. Besides, with such an ability to deceive the entire world, does he need to possess the fruits of the ancient divine vine? Han Fei said, I have a bold idea. Could it be that a powerful existence planted the 6 lineages to eat them? Everyone rolled their eyes at Han Fei, and Old Fierce complained, who can fuse the 6 ancient lineages? Unless that person has 6 lineages. Even so, it's impossible for these 6 different lineages to be combined. Han Fei said, then let's take a look. I'd like to see if the chaotic divine race still has any trump cards. Chaotic divine race. Located in the corner of the Central Sea divine realm, it was not the center. But this corner was interesting. This place was vast and was backed by a chaotic sea area. This place was murderous and deathly silent. It was a forbidden place in the Central Sea divine realm, called the Sky-Flipping Sea. It was said that there were a large number of powerful sea demon beasts in it. As for the spatial rift, where the chaotic divine race lived, it was a place where multiple spatial cracks converged. Thousands of ancient arrays were set up in the surrounding sea area to suppress the sea area, causing the area within millions of kilometers to be peaceful. It was an excellent place for trials and cultivation. It should be a cultivation field specially set up by the chaotic divine race for their children. However, Han Fei didn't see anyone in such a place. Although Han Fei didn't specialize in arrays all year round, according to his estimation, it wouldn't be difficult to break the arrays here. After all, it was just an ordinary Dao field. Han Fei said, in half a month, I can break all the arrays here. However, Qiu Wanren sneered. Half a month to break these lousy arrays? Wait. For me to break this place in 6 hours. Han Fei raised his eyebrows, wondering why the old man was so strong. Although he was relatively weaker than Old Fierce, he was proficient in all kinds of techniques and was so good at arrays. Qiu Wanren waved his hand and 3,000 chess pieces burst out of his body in a row. The 3,000 chess pieces broke through the water one after another. When the chess pieces were set up, the seawater immediately became violent. Boom, boom, boom. There were continuous explosions, which were signs that the arrays were twisted and broken. Han Fei couldn't help but be shocked. Half of Qiu Wanren's array-breaking techniques directly broke other people's arrays and forcibly distorted the arrays, shattering them. The other half directly modified the ground veins, to break the foundation of the chaotic divine race's arrays. His methods were exquisite, and his layout techniques were interconnected. Except for old Han. He had never seen anyone play arrays to this level. Judging from his skills, how could it take 6 hours? Sure enough, after only a little more than 2 hours, all the arrays on the periphery of the chaotic divine race were broken, and the spatial rifts covered by the arrays finally appeared in front of everyone. Bang! As soon as the gate was opened, Old Fierce took the lead and crushed the void for 1,000,000 kilometers with a punch. Except for the gate of the chaotic divine race, everything around him collapsed. Everyone stepped into this place, and the huge chaotic divine race was in front of their eyes. This place seemed to be divided into the celestial world and the human world. There were 20 billion people here. And there was a huge sea here, forming a world of its own. The people lived and worked in peace and didn't seem to be affected. On the vast sea, countless people were still cultivating, unaware that the Central Sea divine realm had changed. There were more than 100,000 palaces in the sky, surrounded by clouds and mist, protected by 99 layers of barriers, separating the celestial world and the human world. The only connection between the two worlds was a staircase that reached the sky and a heavenly gate. However, these 99 barriers could stop ordinary people from peeping into the heavenly palace, but not Han Fei and the others. But when Han Fei and the others glanced around, they found that there were very few strong masters living in the 100,000 palaces. There were less than a million of them, and most of them were in the sea establishment realm. There were less than 100 monarchs, and they all looked old, weak, sick, and disabled. Most of their strength stopped at the Tao proving level. They didn't even have a carefree level cultivator. Han Fei's heart skipped a beat. They all ran away? Aren't they too fast? Lei Heng said, the human race is so smart. I didn't even know when they ran away. Senior Brother Six God said, there are no insects in the 100,000 palaces. Impressive. I don't know how they ran away. Xiao Wanren said, there's no need to guess. It's the Star Sea boundary map. Everyone was stunned when they heard that. Yulinka's expression changed slightly. No wonder in the 300 years since the battle against the divine descendants, the Central Sea divine realm has never used the Star Sea boundary map to attack the divine descendants. I didn't expect this map to be used to escape. Han Fei said, besides, only they ran away. The ancient demon race and the divine demon forest didn't run away. Roar. Old Fear shattered the heavenly gate with a single blow, and divine might descended. In the heavenly palace, the million creatures all knelt, unable to stand up. In the next moment, Old Fierce roared, all the resources have been taken away. Han Fei's face changed. Let's find out where the ancient divine vine is and if it has been taken away. Han Fei immediately took out the vast ocean navigator again and searched, but to no avail. Old Fierce asked, what about these people? Han Fei's eyes turned cold. Kill. To be able to keep these people here, the chaotic divine race doesn't have any good intentions. Yulinka said, then I'll call them out. Don't. No. Han Fei and Xiao Wanren spoke in unison. Han Fei said bluntly, I don't believe anyone from the chaotic divine race. Han Fei came to the group of Tao proving level powerhouses kneeling on the ground with a swish and said, tell me what you know. However, they struggled to resist the suppressing their pressure and then glared at Han Fei. Human thief, we stayed just to take your life. Explode. However, the man discovered, to his shock, that he couldn't control his body. Even the others felt that they couldn't mobilize their power. Han Fei sneered. Human thief? What a good name. You seem to have forgotten who your ancestors are. How can you blow yourselves up in front of me? However, what you know doesn't seem to matter. Even if you want to die, you can only be killed by me. Bang! Han Fei activated his original Great Tao and pushed his strength to the peak. He stomped, and the clouds in the sky turned into a rain of swords that swept across all the palaces. Puff! 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 The powerhouses of the chaotic divine race who were suppressed were pierced by the cloud chi in the blink of an eye, and millions of people were killed one after another. Seeing this, the monarch's eyes almost popped out. Roar! You're not worthy of being the human emperor. Come on. Kill me. Han Fei snorted. You're not in a place to judge me. Okay, now, you can die. As Han Fei waved his hand, hundreds of life chains pierced through these people. At this moment, Han Fei had no pity at all, because he knew that if he didn't kill these people, they would definitely bring disaster to the human race in the future. Rumble. Rumble. Heavenly Tao cracks spread out here one after another. The 20 billion. People below all looked up at the sky, their faces full of horror and shock. They didn't know what had happened and why such a weather phenomenon suddenly appeared. Han Fei's face didn't change at all. It was this trick again. Suddenly, Lei Heng roared, "Little junior brother." When 1,000,000 strong masters died, infinite Tao patterns appeared under Han Fei. Senior brother Lei Heng, senior brother Six God, Old Fierce, and Yu Linka took action almost at the same time. However, a golden barrier rose from the ground and forcibly blocked the blow of 4 sea-quelling gods. Crack. The barrier exploded, but it was too late for the 4 of them. Han Fei had already disappeared from the spot. Swish. In the blink of an eye, Han Fei appeared in a secret cave. On the wall of this cave, there were countless dense holes, like a beehive. And the place where Han Fei appeared was the center of this beehive. In the void here, there was an ancient vine rooted. The vine was full of Tao patterns, which looked abnormally mysterious. On this vine, 6 fruits were shining with a 6-colored light. Under the ancient divine vine, opposite Han Fei, stood a young man. Han Fei didn't know him, but the smile on the young man's face was unusually familiar. Jiang Bai? Smart. I didn't expect you to recognize me. Han Fei narrowed his eyes. Impossible. I've broken your river of life, cut your soul, and even the concealing divine seal has fallen into my hands. How can you still be alive? Jiang Bai smiled faintly and said, I'll always lead myself a way out. I had thought that you would definitely die in the battle of the divine descendants, but in the end, I couldn't resist your great luck and the plans of the strong masters of the Void Temple. Unfortunately, my original body died. In the end. Han Fei sneered. Oh? Your original body has died. You, a mere avatar, want to reverse the universe? Jiang Bai said, I don't know if I can reverse the universe, but I have a big gift for you today. I hope you can take it. Jiang Bai was about to raise his hand, but in the next moment, he found that he couldn't move at all. His avatar was only a peak-level great monarch, and Han Fei was a sea-quelling god at this moment. Even the weakest sea-quelling god was not something Jiang Bai could shake. Han Fei walked forward step by step and said leisurely, You'd better keep your gift for yourself. Use it slowly in your next life. Han Fei extended a finger and pointed at Jiang Bai, instantly destroying his soul. Han Fei hated this person very much. He knew that he couldn't give Jiang Bai any more time to talk nonsense. He was either stalling for time or had other purposes. However, the golden light ignored the invincible state and disappeared into Han Fei's body. An origin star was wrapped in source power and injected into Han Fei's body. This was definitely not something Jiang Bai could do. Someone must have set up a trap in his body. The person who set up the trap was very shrewd. Knowing that he would definitely kill Jiang Bai's avatar, he used Jiang Bai as bait to complete this blow. However, what Han Fei didn't understand was what was the use of an origin star. However, this origin star contained infinite power. As soon as it entered his body, Han Fei felt billowing source power enter his body. Because this energy came too much and too fast, Han Fei seemed to be hit by this power so hard that his internal organs rolled and his body cracked. Besides, this origin star might have been refined by someone with a special method. At this moment, it quickly disintegrated in Han Fei's body, instantly, covering Han Fei's flesh, blood, and meridians and melting into various parts of his body. Not good. Han Fei immediately activated the God-fiend body and absorbed most of the source power through the black hole in his body. He understood that the gift Jiang Bai mentioned was infinite source power. He knew that it was impossible for him to kill him. All his attacking methods were very likely to be easily resolved by him, so he simply gave him a super gift. In an instant, he injected infinite source power energy into his body, trying to blow him up. Han Fei had expected all kinds of situations, but he didn't expect such an outcome. For example, a venerable's strength was limited, and the energy his body could carry was limited. But someone poured all the power of a monarch into his body, so there could only be one result, which was an explosion and death. And the power that Jiang Bai unleashed was the origin star of the sea, quelling God. It contained infinite source power and countless laws. With Han Fei's true realm, it was impossible for him to digest and absorb it. If it weren't for the black hole swallowing him, he would have exploded at that moment. Han Fei immediately sat cross-legged. He wanted to summon Little Black, Little White, and the Emperor Sparrow immediately. However, he immediately gave up this idea. At this moment, Little Black, Little White and Emperor Sparrow were only peak-level great monarchs. It was impossible for them to withstand the invasion of source power. Otherwise, they would only explode instantly and die. Calabash, absorb. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, outside the cave, there were continuous explosions. After about 10 seconds, countless insects walked in from the hole. Found you. Swish. 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 In the next moment, Senior Brother Six God and the others had already appeared in this cave. Lei Hang's expression changed drastically. Little Junior Brother, what happened? Why is source power fluctuating in your body so fiercely? Blue veins bulged all over Han Fei's body, and he shouted in a low voice, I was ambushed. Jiang Bai injected a sea-quelling god-level origin star into my body. It has completely fused with my body. The energy erupted too quickly, and the time was too short. I can't absorb it for the time being. What? Jiang Bai is still alive? Yulinka was stunned. They had all personally witnessed Jiang Bai's death. Old Fierce shouted, can you transfer this power out? Han Fei tried to transfer the source power, but it wasn't his. Unless he refined it, he couldn't use it at all. No. Of course, Han Fei had thought of transferring this source power out, or Senior Brother Six God and the others could directly absorb it from him. But the problem was that this source power was Jiang Bai's killer move. The moment it entered his body, it completely fused into his body and had no intention of dissipating. It was like compressing a star core. It could only be compressed from the inside out, but not from the inside out. Even Senior Brother Six God and the others couldn't help him even if they wanted to. Lei Hang said, the demon purification pot is not complete. If it's really injected with the source power of the sea-quelling god, the demon purification pot will probably reach its upper limit soon. Senior Brother Six God shouted, Little Junior Brother, don't move. Let me do it. Senior Brother Six God immediately took out the creation worm nest, and 3 big bumps bulged on the nest. Everyone looked nervous. After about 100 seconds, 3 divine realm long worms with hundreds of feet hatched from the Nest. As Senior Brother 6 God pointed, the long worm immediately climbed onto Han Fei's back, and hundreds of feet extended out of the cracked flesh on Han Fei's body. One insect was full, and the other continued to attack. However, after all, it was a god-level insect. It was already unbelievable that it was blown up immediately after being filled with source power. No. Senior Brother 6 God's expression changed drastically. That source power has been refined. Unless I can give birth to a sea-quelling god-level origin. Devouring worm, I can't absorb this source power. Chiu Wanren suddenly said, don't be hasty. I have 3 ways. We can have a try. Everyone looked at the old man, hoping to see if he was bragging. Chiu Wanren said proudly, this is a massive amount of source power after all. It should be a great tonic for the sea-quelling god. You survived it partly because of the demon purification pot and partly because you gave birth to source power. If you handle it well, you might be able to absorb this source power. With that, Chiu Wanren stomped and Tao patterns gathered in front of him. These Tao patterns intertwined with Chiu Wanren's soul power and gathered into a scroll, forming a Tao pattern painting 100 meters long. He shouted, the first way is to seal the power. As long as you can seal this power, you can take time to absorb it. As the painting surrounded Han Fei, it tried to seal his body. But when the painting was about to enter Han Fei's body, with a swish, the Tao pattern painting was torn into pieces and shattered on the spot. Puff. Chiu Wanren vomited a mouthful of blood and said with difficulty, no, this power is too violent. I can't seal it at all. Lei Heng asked anxiously, what about the second method? Chiu Wanren wiped the blood at the corner of his mouth. The second technique is bloodline devouring. Han Fei, you've swallowed the blood of 10,000 gods, so your bloodline level should be extremely high. Try swallowing source power with your bloodline. Devour source power with bloodline? Everyone was lost for words. How can it be devoured? Chiu Wanren said, it's not necessarily impossible. This is also a kind of sealing technique. Otherwise, how was the bloodline of a divine descendant sealed? The essence of a cultivator is that the bloodline carries everything. It's not your body, your soul, or your bloodline. Bloodline determines the limits of the soul and the body. Even source power is the fusion of soul power and power after all. It can't escape the fundamental power of the bloodline. Han Fei's heart stirred. It was true that he couldn't control the source power, but he could control his qi and blood. He immediately activated the majestic qi and blood in his body, trying to separate the source power. However, his eyes lit up. It worked. Wait for me for a few days. With that, Han Fei entered his origin star. 1 day later, the demon purification pot couldn't absorb any more. After all, it wasn't in its complete state. If the demon purification pot killed doomsday-level ominous creatures, it could at most kill dozens or even hundreds of them. If it was sea-quelling god-level ominous creatures, it probably couldn't swallow any of them. Once the demon purification pot stopped absorbing, Han Fei felt the pressure again. 3 months later, Han Fei's face changed slightly. It seemed that his bloodline could no longer carry more source power. However, Han Fei gritted his teeth and forcibly extracted his bloodline. At the same time, the infinite spiritual fruits he looted this time and a massive number of refined stars revolved around him, reproducing his essence blood. Half a year. 1 year. 3 years later, Han Fei reproduced 10 bodies of blood and finally stabilized the violent energy of the source power in his body. Not only that, but he also felt that in the past 3 years, under the fusion of the source power, his physique had been strengthened. Now, the carrying power of his physique had finally reached 10 times. Even his source power had increased by about 20,000 to 620,000, which saved him a lot of cultivation time. Otherwise, it would take at least hundreds or thousands of years for the supreme divine technique to slowly improve. Buzz. When Han Fei came out of his origin star, a day had passed. Lei Heng asked, "Little junior brother, how is it going?" Han Fei smiled. "I'm fine now." With that, Han Fei cupped his hands at Qiu Wanren and said, "Thank you for your guidance, senior." Qiu Wanren raised his head and stroked his beard. "Didn't I tell you? I'm a genius. Otherwise, why was it I who guarded the blood of all gods?" Han Fei couldn't help but smile. "Okay. You're intelligent and peerless. However, what's the third method you mentioned?" Qiu Wanren smiled in disdain. "You're in a treasure mountain, but you know no treasure. Let me ask you, is the source power yours?" Han Fei said, "Of course not. If it's mine, I'll give each of you some." Qiu Wanren said again, "Since it's not yours, can't you just take him into the path of reincarnation? Have you ever seen anyone who can maintain his combat power after entering the path of reincarnation?" Han Fei was suddenly enlightened. Yes. Since it wasn't his, if he jumped into the river on the path of reincarnation, it could be washed away in minutes. How could he forget this? Qiu Wanren said, "So Jiang Bai still doesn't know you, nor does he know the significance of having an extraordinary bloodline. Otherwise, he wouldn't have harmed you in this way. Unfortunately, the best way is not to devour source power with your bloodline, but to directly seal it. In this way, you can automatically cultivate quickly even when you lie down and sleep in the future. Isn't that great?" Han Fei said, "It's already not bad. I can also refine the divine blood. If it were a refined star, it would probably be as much as 5 million. Senior brother Six God said, "Little junior brother, it's a blessing in disguise for you this time, but you have to be careful of Jiang Bai in the future." Lei Heng asked, "Isn't he dead?" Everyone was speechless. "Do you think he's dead?" Han Fei nodded. "Yes. Without the concealing divine seal, how can he escape the search of the vast ocean navigator? I'm not in a hurry to solve Jiang Bai, but this ancient divine vine hasn't matured yet. If I can't take it away, can I directly cut it off?" 3462 From now on, the human race will be the king in the sea realm. 1. Cut off? Han Fei was stunned. "Isn't it too much?" Oldfear said, "It's not an exaggeration. There was a precedent. In the past, a treasure calabash gave birth to the calabash race. A sea-quelling god coveted the treasure calabash and tried to snatch it, but he was killed by the treasure calabash with 7 hammers on the spot. At that time, what he faced was not the treasure calabash itself, but the power of the myriad worlds and the entire sea of stars. It's hard to imagine how powerful it was. Ah, well. Forget it." Han Fei didn't know that there was such a secret in this world, but after what Qiu Wanren and Old Fear said, he immediately gave up the idea of suppressing the ancient divine vine by force. Everyone looked at the ancient divine vine in bewilderment. They didn't know where the vine was rooted. It seemed that its nutrition was transmitted from these roots. After a round of exploration, they couldn't even trace the root of the vine. Han Fei surrounded the ancient divine vine, and the demon purification pot. Couldn't see the information of the vine. He said, "Senior brother 6 God. Since eldest senior brother asked you to guard it, do you know when this fruit will ripen?" Senior brother 6 God shook his head. "I don't know, but these fruits are glowing at this moment, which means that they are absorbing power. And the source of this power should be the million people from the ancient demon race, the divine demon forest, and the chaotic divine race who have recently been slaughtered. However, these alone shouldn't be enough to accelerate the fruit's maturity. I think we might as well wait and set up a seal here." Senior brother Lei Heng said, "When eldest senior brother is done, ask him. He will definitely know." Lei Heng was a typical lazy person. This ancient divine vine had nothing to do with him, so he didn't take it seriously at all. Qiu Wanren said, "This divine vine has a long history and involves the chaotic era. In this era, very few people know it. Even I haven't seen or even heard of it." Yulinka said, "Little junior brother, you'd better collect the primordial purple gate first. There are still 20 billion ordinary people waiting for you to deal with outside. This is a matter of your human race. It depends on your thoughts. However, it's unrealistic to kill all of them. You'd better deal with them appropriately." All the strong masters of the chaotic divine race fled and almost failed Han Fei. This was really another lesson for Han Fei. The strong masters ran away, leaving 20 billion people behind. Han Fei was speechless, thinking that the chaotic divine race was really shameless. Han Fei sighed slightly. "Where is the primordial purple gate?" "It's outside this cave. We saw it when we came in." Han Fei couldn't help but ask, "Do you think this primordial purple gate has anything to do with the ancient divine vine?" Qiu Wanren said, "What are you asking? It must be related. Otherwise, it would be too much of a coincidence." They kept the matter of the ancient divine vine a secret, and they all have the primordial purple gate. Han Fei said, "Then let's take down the other forces first." After a while, Han Fei collected the primordial purple gate. They stood in the sky and looked down at the 20 billion creatures underneath their feet. But if he kept him, these people would definitely not have a good impression of Han Fei at all. In their perspective, he was the one who ruined their long, happy life. Lei Heng shook his head. "Little junior brother, the chaotic divine race has indeed given you a big problem." Han Fei shook his head. "Is this a problem?" Han Fei thought for a moment. "Elder Qiu, can I trouble you with something?" Qiu Wanren shook his head quickly. "I don't have the ability to deal with it. I can't do that to 20 billion ordinary people." Han Fei said, "I'm not asking you to take action. I just hope you can seal this place." Yulinka asked, "Little junior brother, do you want them to be imprisoned here?" Han Fei nodded. "We don't have time to deal with these people. Since they are all ordinary people, let them live here in peace. If the Sea of Stars is defeated, everyone will be doomed. If we can defeat the ominous, it won't matter if we let them out. Besides, what are they worried about? Our human race has been trapped in the ancestral land of the human race for countless years. Why was this a problem for them?" Han Fei chose not to take the blame. Just because he couldn't kill them didn't mean he would take them. The population of the human race was rapidly increasing, and their overall strength was taking a qualitative leap. He couldn't let these people bring disaster to the human race. Senior Brother 6 God said, "That's appropriate, but since you want to seal them more thoroughly. Otherwise, just because you don't let them go doesn't mean that the chaotic divine race won't find a way to exile them, to the sea realm. At that time you won't be able to kill them, but they will hate you and cause trouble for you." Chiu Wanren nodded. "Yes." Han Fei grinned. "Okay, that's it. However, leave a channel for ourselves. We'll have to watch the ancient divine vine." Senior Brother 6 God said, "I'll arrange for the insect race to guard this place. If anything happens here, I'll know immediately." 3463 From now on, the human race will be the king in the sea realm, too. That's good. Then let's go to the Sky Spider-Worm Valley without further ado. The collective escape of the chaotic divine race meant that the human race and the divine descendants had won this battle. After all, the entire race had run away, but the sea-quelling god was still here. He must be out of his mind. Therefore, the sea-quelling god of the chaotic divine race had definitely run away too. As for the other white-haired old man, even if he still stayed in the sea realm, he could only surrender. Sky Spider-Worm Valley. At this moment, a rain of blood was falling, and great Tao cracks crisscrossed. The 80 million kilometers of Worm Valley had almost been flattened. Lin Xian was right. They were all abandoned. Since they couldn't kill the human race and the divine descendants, they would serve as nutrients for the ancient divine vine. In a sense, even if Han Fei and the others won, they couldn't escape the fate of being chess pieces. And the chess player never appeared. Kill. Luo Xiaobai led the 80 million strong human army into the battlefield. Zhang Xuanyu, Xia Xiaochan, Lu Renquang, and a few other monarchs fought the other party's monarchs first. However, in terms of the number of monarchs, how could the Sky Spider-Worm Valley compare to the divine descendants? Therefore, in less than an hour, all the monarchs in the Sky Spider-Worm Valley died. Han Fei was standing with Xia Xiaochan and Zhang Xuanyu. Zhang Xuanyu muttered, "Fei Fei. Although your daughter was born late, she's stronger than my daughter in terms of strength. Isn't it ridiculous that she has so many divine techniques?" At this moment, Han Chani was also fighting a bloody battle on the battlefield. However, her talent was to control the great Tao of space. At the same level, her teleportation speed, frequency, and mastery of the great Tao of space made even Xia Xiaochan a little nervous. At this moment, Han Chani, Zhang Panpan, Wang Xiaoxiao, and the others were like a strong army. They were all heavenly talents among heavenly talents. Any opponent in the perfected star transformation realm would be killed within 100 rounds. Han Fei looked at Zhang Xuanyu with a smile and said, "Don't think I don't know that your talent has been passed on to Panpan. Such talent is not weak. It's no weaker than yours." Lu Renquang sighed. "Shouldn't they give birth to one as soon as possible so that my child can form a team with Yi and Panpan?" Zhang Xuanyu scolded jokingly, "Then hurry up." Suddenly, Han Fei seemed to remember something. "By the way, Fatty, where is the boss of the top 3 bandits of the West Wilderness? I don't see them. After the battle of the divine descendants. Don't you know?" Lu Renquang said, "I do. But you didn't ask me." The old man and the other 2 went to transcend the divine tribulation together. At this moment, they should be burning, killing, and robbing in the Central Sea divine realm. You know. Bandits are just like us back then. Nonsense. Han Fei immediately retorted, when have I ever burned, killed, and robbed? I always beat my opponent head-on and took away resources. Heh heh. Zhang Xuanyu and the others smiled without saying anything. Another 3 days passed. After clearing up the Sky Spider Worm Valley, he found another primordial purple gate. It seemed that the primordial purple gate was probably scattered in the 6 forces that Lin Xian mentioned. Light City. When Han Fei and the others arrived, the entire Light City had been disbanded, and a massive population had dispersed to the entire Sea Realm. But even if their population dissipated, it couldn't stop Han Fei. For 7 days in a row, he quickly found the strong masters who had resources with the vast ocean navigator and successfully snatched back the countless resources of the Light City. As for the strong masters of the Light City who scattered into the Sea Realm, their lives might not be easy. In the past few days, the other 4 divine realms had completely stopped hiding, and the borders had all been sealed. As long as the people of the Light City were in the Sea Realm, they would be besieged. The 4 divine realms couldn't be underestimated. Their information channels weren't bad. They immediately took action after Han Fei destroyed the ancient demon race and the divine demon forest. For a moment, countless forces in the entire Central Sea divine realm were trembling. Many relatively weak forces had long wavered and chose to ally with the 4 divine realms. As for large forces such as Fist Sect, Flying Immortal Tower, Mirage Sect and Illusory Sky Sect, although no one was attacked at the moment, there were countless strong masters from the 4 divine realms who came to negotiate with them every day. On one hand, they couldn't bring themselves to do it, and on the other hand, they naively felt that such a big event wouldn't affect them. After all, it was impossible for Han Fei to completely overthrow the order of the entire Central Sea divine realm and start over. As for forces like the Sound-Ending Mountain and the Thousand Phenomena Sect, they were very decisive. They didn't care so much about face, so they readily cooperated with the 4 divine realms. Of course, there were also some forces that were neither big nor small. They had great monarchs and nature spiritual treasures protecting them, so they forcibly retained the right to continue to live in the Central Sea divine realm. But the Central Sea divine realm had changed. Who could stay out of it? Therefore, they fought some forces from the 4 divine realms. The most miserable ones were the small and medium-sized forces that relied on the protection of the ancient demon race. They had no choice at all. Whether they chose to surrender or disband, no one would believe them. Therefore, war was inevitable. In just half a month, the entire Central Sea divine realm had completely become a battlefield. Above the sea, battles could be seen everywhere. At this moment, Han Fei led an army of 80 million human beings and 8 million divine descendants to the primordial divine academy. The old man who had fought Old Fierce twice blocked Han Fei and the others with a solemn expression. Han Fei, the primordial divine academy, gathers the heavenly talents from the entire Central Sea divine realm, even the other 4 divine realms. It's the cultivation holy land of countless students. Do you want to destroy our primordial divine academy? 3464 From now on, the human race will be the king in the Sea Realm. 3. Oh. So you're from the primordial divine academy? Old Fierce put on a creepy smile. Big Bird, I'm very glad that you didn't escape. The white-haired old man was not afraid of Han Fei and the other three sea-quelling gods. He said, I am the only one who is recognized by the strong masters in the Sea of Stars as to guard the sea realm. You can call me the guardian of the sea realm. Bah! You Linkus bat. Are you the guardian of the sea realm? Then where were you when the Central Sea Divine Realm slaughtered the divine descendants? Where were you when the Central Sea Divine Realm joined forces to try to destroy the human race? How do you have the cheek to say that you are the guardian of the sea realm? The white-haired old man was still tough. I'm blocking external enemies, not a civil war. Besides, the strongest person who attacked the divine descendants is no more than a god, and the strongest person who attacked the human race is no more than a great monarch. Who do you think set this hurdle? Han Fei grinned, a smile similar to Old Fierce. Are you still quite proud? Do you think I should thank you? Han Fei walked forward step by step and said indifferently, I, Han Fei, am only a peak-level great monarch now. Do you have any objections to me challenging the Primordial Divine Academy? Don't worry. I won't use any secret techniques. I'll only use the combat power of a peak-level great monarch. The white-haired old man's pupils were constricted slightly. Human Emperor. Aren't you looking for the wrong person to take revenge on? The entire Primordial Divine Academy didn't participate in the East Expedition. Han Fei asked, really? But without your indulgence, can they destroy some forces from time to nurture the ancient divine vine? The white-haired old man's pupils were constricted. From the moment Lin Xian betrayed him, he knew that the secret of the ancient divine vine couldn't be kept anymore. However, the old man was fearless. You don't know the significance of the reappearance of the divine vine at all. This is an opportunity. F***ck your opportunity. Han Fei roared, old man, if it weren't for the fact that you are a sea-quelling god, I would have killed you today. However, although I can let you go today, I need you to take the initiative to complete 3 things. Firstly, hand over everyone in the Primordial Divine Academy from the Divine Demon Forest, the Ancient Demon Race, the Light City, the Sky Spider Worm Valley, and the Chaotic Divine Race. Secondly, hand over the Primordial Purple Gate. Thirdly, finish the first 2 things and get out of the sea realm immediately. Never to return. How dare you? Since the founding of the Primordial Divine Academy, there have been 5 dominators, 128 sea-quelling gods, 501 god-slaying level powerhouses, and more than 3,900 gods in history. Han Fei, are you qualified to touch the Primordial Divine Academy? Heh heh. Han Fei couldn't help but grin. Then let the strong masters of the Primordial Divine Academy take revenge on me. Senior Brother Lei Heng, Senior Brother 6. God, I'm afraid I can't listen to Senior Sister Shenlu anymore. Old Fierce. Let's kill him. Old Fierce licked the corner of his mouth, his eyes bloodshot. You should have done this long ago. Lei Heng and Senior Brother 6, God looked at each other. Lei Heng was used to being lawless. He chuckled. It's not that we didn't listen. Look at this old man. He thinks too highly of himself. Not to mention little junior brother. Even I can't tolerate him anymore. Senior Brother 6 God sighed slightly. Fine, it's up to you. Han Fei immediately activated his original Great Tao and shouted, his voice rumbling throughout the sea realm, the Primordial Divine Academy is a moral colluding with the chaotic divine race, the divine demon forest, the ancient demon race, the sky spider worm valley, and the light city, they secretly slaughtered all the races for personal gain. Now, I, Han Fei, announce that the Primordial Divine Academy will be disbanded today. The old man roared, ignorant brat, do you think the Primordial Divine Academy can be disbanded so easily? In the Primordial Divine Academy, countless students also looked solemn. Someone snorted. What a domineering human emperor. Who does he think he is? The Primordial Divine Academy has existed for billions of years. How can he disband it so easily? Someone echoed, Han Fei is lying. He deserves to be executed. However, there were also students who were secretly observing. In the past few days, there had been a rain of blood in the Central Sea Divine Realm. Those who didn't know the situation would eventually be buried in the dust of history. Some students had received notice from their families that the big clans had already joined forces with the other 4 divine realms, so they would definitely not sacrifice themselves for the Primordial Divine Academy. Besides, there were many disciples of the other 4 divine realms in the Primordial Divine Academy. They knew very well what to do and what not to do. Kill. As Han Fei roared, he took the lead to attack. Now, Han Fei's strength had improved greatly. With his full strength, he had 6.2 million combat power. Although he was still at the bottom of the sea, quelling gods, he was much stronger than before. Old Fierce was faster than Han Fei. Han Fei's strength certainly couldn't shake this old man, but Old Fierce was not Han Fei. He had long coveted this old man's body. Boom! The 3 of them instantly shot into the sky, shattering the void and causing explosions. Count me in. The sky was full of lightning, locking down billions of kilometers of the sky. And a lightning divine shadow also joined the battle. The strong masters of the 4 divine realms, such as the East Sea Divine Realm, the South Sea Divine Realm, and the West Wilderness, were relieved too. See this scene. The top 3 bandits of the West Wilderness all shouted, kill anyone who is under the control of these 6 major forces can be killed as you please. Such an opportunity comes once in millions of years. We can't let the other divine realms beat us in speed. In the East Sea Divine Realm, the Crown Prince of the Divine Capital led an army to an expedition. Take down the Light City and all its surrounding forces. The Divine Capital will garrison the Central Sea from here. Countless strong masters of the Phoenix divine race covered the sky like a sea of flames. 3465 From now on, the human race will be the king in the sea realm. 4. The Phoenix Patriarch personally led the army and shouted, from now on, there will be no divine demon forest in the sea realm. Capture all the forces around it. Those who don't surrender will be killed on the spot. As for the Sky Spider Worm Valley and the chaotic divine race, no one went there. One of them could obviously only be left to the North Sea, and the other was a branch of the human race. Who would compete with Han Fei? As for the ancient demon race, it had become a competition ground for many medium-sized and large forces. The surrounding medium-sized and small forces had run away and surrendered at the beginning. There were too many people coveting this domain. Now that Han Fei had established his power, the forces in the Central Sea Divine Realm that could resist him had all been wiped out. What was the use of a sea-quelling god of the Primordial Divine Academy? As soon as Han Fei started this battle, all kinds of battles broke out around the ancient demon race. At this moment, Han Fei and the other two joined forces to besiege the white-haired old man. Although Han Fei was at the bottom of the sea-quelling divine realm, it didn't mean that he couldn't shake the old man. In fact, the immortal slaying knife and the sword of shattering, coupled with source power, were equally destructive. Although the old man was powerful, 2 fists couldn't resist 4 hands. Old Fierce alone could cut off one of his legs after a long battle, let alone now. Senior brother Lei Heng controlled the 4 lightning domains. Every time he attacked, it was comparable to a sea-quelling tribulation. It's terrifying. Power was no weaker than Old Fierce at all, even stronger than Old Fierce. Now, at this moment, wherever senior brother Fan Lei Heng passed, it turned into a lightning domain. This place was filled with the power of lightning techniques, and all other techniques' power was greatly reduced here. Buzz. Han Fei saw the phantoms of thunder gods rising from the ground. There were a total of 12 thunder gods, exactly the same as the statues Han Fei had seen in the Thunder Note ancient temple. 12 Thunder Seal technique, materialize? Han Fei couldn't help but think that senior brother Lei Heng had reached the peak of the path of ancient god of Thunder Note. Whoosh! The lightning and fire spread, the 10,000 thunder fusion killing technique, the soul-slaying lightning, the lightning jumping, lightning arcs, and so on. The white-haired old man was charred all over, and one of his arms was torn off by Old Fierce. Even Han Fei took the opportunity to slash at the old man's back. The Tao of Slaughter God surged into his body, causing the white-haired old man to bleed. Senior brother Lei Heng stood proudly on the many thunder god Dharma idols and summoned surging tribulation clouds. Seeing this, Han Fei's face changed. The ultimate seal technique of the 12 thunder seal technique, heavenly tribulation killing technique. Being able to use this move meant that Lei Heng had completely mastered the 12 thunder seal technique. This was a heavenly tribulation killing technique of the sea-quelling god level, so its power couldn't be underestimated. Rumble. The heavenly tribulation descended, and the white-haired old man was instantly enveloped. Chirp. The old man was finally defeated and turned into a heavenly rock with thousands of feathers covering the sky. His eyes were cold as he roared, Han Fei, you are the thief who brought disaster to all races. You deserve to be executed. In the next moment, the 2 swords fused and charged at Han Fei. Lightning form, 10,000-tide thunder shield. Pfft. However, this sword was not only the white-haired old man's sword, but also the ultimate blow of the supreme nature treasure. It was extremely powerful and actually cut through the sea of lightning. Seeing this, Old Fierce Dharma idol turned ferocious and turned into a Cheong Chi phantom. He charged at the sword with his 2 horns. Boom. Boom. Crack. The Dharma idol of Cheong Chi was also broken. It could be seen that even the sea-quelling god couldn't resist the power of a supreme nature treasure. Han Fei narrowed his eyes and held the law enforcement divine chain, intending to attack with all his strength and block this sword in an invincible state. Swish. But at the moment when the sword was about to reach him, Han Fei drew his broadsword and slashed, and a figure suddenly appeared. Clank. In the next moment, the newcomer clamped his fingers together, and the violent sword that broke Lei Heng and Old Fierce's attacks was clamped and couldn't move at all. 5th senior brother, you came at the right time. Han Fei was lost for words. Did it have to be so thrilling? Gulp ah. 5th senior brother smiled faintly. By May, our Daos are different. But you're bullying the weak. I can't turn a blind eye to this. The white-haired old man shouted angrily, Zhang Shaoling, one day, you will regret it. Bang! Lei Hing arrived in an instant and punched the white-haired old man back. Billions of kilometers. Obviously, he was angry at this guy for attacking Han Fei just now. He shouted, what a sanctimonious person. Fortunately, I didn't enter the Primordial Divine Academy back then. Today, I'll send you to hell. Junior brother Lei Hing. Fifth senior brother waved his hand. Forget it. I shouldn't have attacked him. If he wants to escape, the three of you won't be able to take him down. In that case, let's just retreat. You'll meet again someday. At that time, if there are any conflicts, I won't stop you. The white-haired old man returned to his human form and looked at Han Fei deeply. I'm waiting for you to kill me, but the Primordial Divine Academy is not guilty. It's not up to you whether it's guilty or not. If I say it can be destroyed, it can. Han Fei didn't care at all. He casually slashed through the endless void and immediately ordered the human army. His voice echoed in the sky above the Primordial Divine Academy, flatten the Primordial Divine Academy. Anyone who resists will be killed. Han Fei. Bai Mei shouted angrily. Get lost. Han Fei became even more violent. In the future, the human race will be the king in the sea realm. I'll show you that without those cowards, the sea realm will be stronger. With that, Han Fei pointed at his white eyebrows. Old Bai Mei, when I set foot in the sea of stars in the future, I will come to you. With that, Han Fei turned around and left. As soon as he stepped out of the endless void, before Bai Mei left, Han Fei's voice spread throughout the Central Sea Divine Realm. I am Human Emperor Han Fei. Now I order the sect masters of the Jade Cauldron sect, the Fist sect, the Flying Immortal Tower, the Sound-Ending Mountain, the Secret Assassin sect, the Mirage sect, and the Illusory Sky sect to come to the old site of the Primordial Divine Academy, to see me in half a day. If you don't come in half a day, don't come. Han Fei didn't care what the people of the Sea Realm thought of him, because he knew that as long as he was strong enough, no one dared to say anything. It was a foregone conclusion that the human race would take over the Central Sea Divine Realm. Even the many super forces that dominated the Central Sea Divine Realm had been wiped out. Even the strong masters in the Sea of Stars didn't react, which explained everything. When 8 million divine descendants and 80 million human beings rushed into the Primordial Divine Academy in one fell swoop, almost immediately, more than half of the students of the Primordial Divine Academy quit and avoided fighting. Although those who could enter the Primordial Divine Academy were very strong and talented, this didn't mean that they were willing to sacrifice their lives for the pride of the Primordial Divine Academy. They were all cultivators. It wasn't easy for them to cultivate to their current realm. How could they casually court death? Even if some people were unconvinced by Han Fei, they would probably retreat at this moment and wait for a better chance to attack the human race. Of course, some people could leave, but some couldn't. For example, every time someone tried to sneak away, there would always be a strong master of the divine race who discovered it and dragged him out from among the countless students. Whether it was the ancient demons, demon plants, or the people from the light city and the sky spider-worm valley, they were all too characteristic. And there were probably very few members of the smart race, like the chaotic divine race, left in the Primordial Divine Academy. Therefore, in the sky above the primordial divine academy, the powerhouses of these lineages kept shouting, everyone, Han Fei, this be asterisk starred, plotted against the eternal foundation of our primordial divine academy. You cowards! The divine academy is in danger, but you're still fleeing for your lives. Aren't you letting the divine academy down? Someone shouted, everyone, follow me to kill the enemy. Although I'm no match for them, I refuse to surrender to them. Kill. Hundreds of thousands of sky openers and dozens of monarchs joined forces. But in front of 80 million human beings and 8 million divine descendants, this was not worth mentioning at all. Not only were most of the disciples of the primordial divine academy not stimulated by their bravery, but they also shouted, I'm a disciple of the Mirage sect. I won't participate in this battle. I'm from the Fist sect. I have no intention of starting a war with the human race. I am a disciple of the Thousand Phenomena sect. I'm from the Sting Hidden sect. I've never attacked the human race. Bang! 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 These students were afraid that they couldn't avoid it in time, so some directly revealed their original bodies and revealed their identities. Behind them, in the primordial divine academy, countless former classmates and fellow Taoists were drowned by the army of humans and divine descendants. In the sky, great Tao cracks appeared one after another, densely packed and crisscrossing as if the sky was cracking. Several hours later, Han Fei stood proudly in the sky above the primordial divine academy. Not far behind Han Fei stood dozens of peak-level great monarchs. Han Fei didn't speak, and they didn't dare to make a sound. This time, Han Fei was too ruthless. He really dared to kill. Almost the entire Central Sea divine realm had been slaughtered. Although they were large forces, they couldn't compare to the ancient demon race or the divine demon forest, let alone the primordial divine academy. At this moment, the battle in the primordial divine academy had basically subsided. After all, most of the disciples of the primordial divine academy hadn't participated in the battle. Of course, they couldn't leave either. Luo Xiaobai and Chu Hao led the crowd to surround these people. Just because they weren't killed didn't mean that they could leave at will. There was no free lunch in the world. There were conditions to leave. At this moment, Yu Linka and Qiu Wanren walked out of a secret realm of the primordial divine academy, dragging a palm-sized mountain in her hand. Han Fei's eyes glittered. The divine descendants' treasure? Yu Linka nodded and then looked at the void. Xiaoling, you can let him go now. Han Fei couldn't help but say, I thought this treasure would be taken away by the people of the chaotic divine race. I didn't expect it to be left behind. Qiu Wanren sneered. Perhaps they don't dare to take it with them. This treasure mountain was refined by our divine descendants. If they take this thing with them, our divine descendants will come to them sooner or later. Therefore, carrying this thing will only be a burden. Yu Linka nodded. Bai Mei didn't dare to carry it with him, so it was left behind in the primordial divine academy. Han Fei said, well, let's open it until this matter is over. Now, let's get down to business. Buzz. At this moment, the crown prince of the divine capital and Fire Lady arrived. Almost together. The crown prince of the divine capital cupped his hands at Han Fei. Fellow Taoist human emperor, how have you been? The Fire Lady giggled. What a pity. If you had really married Xiao Yu back, then, it would have been a good thing. Cough, cough. Han Fei's unfathomable and ruthless image couldn't be ruined by the Fire Lady. He nodded at the two of them indifferently and said, "Students from the East Sea Divine Realm and the South Sea Divine Realm, step out. You can leave now." Immediately, many disciples of the Primordial Divine Academy were overjoyed. Nearly 300,000 people had walked out. As for the other students who couldn't leave, they were nervous, especially the disciples of the Fist sect and the Mirage sect. They knew that some of their clansmen had indeed once attacked the human race and Han Fei. Although not many people did it, they did participate. Han Fei turned around, looked at the strong masters of the Fist sect and other forces, and said indifferently, "The only reason I didn't attack you is that the ominous is about to return. Whether it's the Sea Realm or the Sea of Stars, they both need talents. However, this doesn't mean that what you have done in the past will be written off. You can take these people back, but if you can't do a few things, don't blame me for falling out with you." Immediately, someone hurriedly said obsequiously, "If Human Emperor has any orders, we will definitely do our best." The others also echoed, "Human Emperor, don't worry. We are not as pedantic as the Primordial Divine Academy. We are not satisfied with the decaying Central Sea Divine Realm either. This time, it's all thanks to Human Emperor sweeping the Central Sea Divine Realm and bringing us peace." The group of big shots all lowered their heads. Compared to the fate of their sects and the lives of tens of thousands of heavenly talents, they were nothing. Han Fei glanced at everyone. "Firstly, from now on, in the Central Sea Divine Realm, it's not allowed that small forces are attached to large forces. Secondly, everyone present, take out 60% of the resources of your sections." "What? 60% of the resources?" These people were dumbfounded. Wasn't Han Fei's appetite too big? 60% of the resources of forces like theirs was an astronomical figure. Who was willing to give away so many resources? Once they gave away these resources, they could hardly make ends meet. How could they still be treated as large forces? Han Fei snorted. "I will use these resources to build an unprecedented, magnificent city, a free city without any racism where anyone can come. I'm not asking for your opinion. If anyone doesn't give resources, gives less resources, or hides any resources, once I catch them, what I want won't be as simple as 60%. I will take all their resources, and their sects will be disbanded." Han Fei looked indifferent as if he was going to eat them. Although everyone was unwilling, who dared to resist? Seeing that everyone was silent, Han Fei slowly said, "The third thing is that all the treasure places, training places, and mineral veins controlled by your sects shall be handed out." Buzz. For a moment, everyone wanted to rebel. This was not negotiating with them, but killing them. Han Fei didn't care about their thoughts. He said, "Are you very puzzled and think that I've squeezed you too much?" Finally, a strong master of a sect said with difficulty, "Human Emperor, is this any different from destroying our clans?" Everyone looked at Han Fei, as if they wanted to get an answer from him. Han Fei sneered. "It's easy for me to destroy your clans. Just watch what I do today. You might have to thank me later." Everyone was speechless. "You're going to take all our belongings, and we have to thank you? What kind of logic is this?" However, Han Fei ignored them at this moment. Han Fei had no intention of letting them go. These heavenly talents were all nervous at this moment. This human emperor was too domineering. He even dared To sweep through the primordial divine academy. Would he attack them? Han Fei shook his head. After all, I can't kill everyone who has offended me. Now that the ominous has returned, what's the point if the sea realm continues to develop so mediocrely? Lei Hing said, little junior brother, why do you care about the sea realm? Let's pack up and go to the Sea of Stars. Senior brother Six God said, how can it be as simple as you think? If we all leave, who can you throw such a big mess to? Senior sister Shen wants little junior brother to unify the sea realm, so she naturally hopes that the sea realm can form a joint force to deal with the ominous in the future. Little junior brother must have his own thoughts. Han Fei smiled and said, Senior brother Six God is right. This mess is too big. Someone has to control it. The Blue Sea era is destined to be a mediocre era. In just 100,000 years, all the races have been crippled. It's time for the sea realm to enter a new era. Everyone looked at each other, not understanding what Han Fei was thinking. In the next moment, Han Fei's voice resounded throughout the sea realm, rolling like thunder. I am human Emperor Han Fei. Today, I rule the central sea divine realm. I destroyed the ancient demon race, the divine demon forest, and the sky spider worm valley, and swept through the light city, the chaotic divine race, and the primordial divine academy. I announce that from today on, the Blue Sea era is over. All the races in the infinite ocean will enter a new era. This may be the shortest era in the entire history of the sea realm. I call it the Doomsday Era. Doomsday Era? Countless creatures in the 5 seas were listening. Many people were shocked by the speed of the rise of the human race and Han Fei's strength. In less than a month, he had swept through 6 superpowers. They didn't dare to imagine it. But they had thought that the defeat of the strong masters of the Central Sea divine realm would be the end of this turbulence. But Han Fei had actually announced that he had overthrown the Blue Sea era. Han Fei's divine voice rumbled. What I'm going to say next concerns the life and death of every race and every creature in the sea realm. The myriad races in the infinite ocean have been living since the chaotic era. We have experienced the primordial era, the era of gods, the era of doom, the Blue Sea era, and the current Doomsday era. In these eras, the myriad races in the infinite ocean have a common enemy, which is the ominous. His first appearance ended the chaotic era. His second return destroyed the primordial era, which was an era 100 times stronger than the era of gods. Now, he has returned again. This time, we don't have the endless treasures of the chaotic era, the countless strong masters of the primordial era, and we even have very few gods. All of you only have a mere 10,000 years left. Hiss. Only 10,000 years? Countless people were struck by lightning. Even the sect masters of many large and medium-sized forces in the Central Sea divine realm were stunned. How could it only be 10,000 years? Even these strong masters were shocked, not to mention the ordinary people of the myriad races. For example, the 80 million humans, 8 million divine descendants, and nearly 1 million students of the primordial divine academy in front of Han Fei were all shocked. In other places in the sea realm, whether it was the powerful bandits who were looting or the itinerant cultivators who were struggling to seek opportunities in the desolate sea, they were all horrified and spontaneously put down what they were doing. Han Fei's voice echoed in the void, whether it's the sea establishment realm, the sky-opening realm, the monarch realm, or even the gods. You didn't hear it wrong. Everyone only has 10,000 years left. In the sea of stars, countless people are fighting a bloody battle. As for the so-called super forces in the Central Sea Divine Realm, they actually want to snatch the luck of other races for personal gain and strengthen themselves. Such a sea realm can't even resist me, a mere human emperor, not to mention the ominous. Therefore, I announce that from today on, the Central Sea Divine Realm will build an unprecedented magnificent city, called the Free City. The Free City can encompass all races. Anyone can come, and all the resources here will be open to everyone. Whether it's resources, cultivation techniques, divine techniques, or everything you want, the Central Sea Divine Realm has them. Powers as strong as the Flying Immortal Tower, the Mirage Sect, the Fist Sect, the Thousand Phenomena Sect, and many other forces have agreed to publicize their secret realms, treasure troves, mining areas, top cultivation methods, and even divine techniques. As long as you are talented enough, you can join any force at will. Even if you are not talented enough, you can buy anything you want from the Free City. At this moment, the strong masters of the major forces present all took a deep breath. Their minds began to spin quickly. If what Han Fei said was true, it meant that their sects would expand rapidly. At that time, they could easily become a super force. Besides, they thought about it carefully. In fact, they were only sacrificing the resources they controlled. Those vassal small forces were actually not easy to deal with. How could it be as convenient as them directly taking in a large number of disciples? Even the Crown Prince of the Divine Capital and the Fire Lady were intrigued. The Crown Prince of the Divine Capital said, "Fellow Taoist human emperor, can only those powers recruit talents in the Free City?" Han Fei grinned. Of course not. All forces, big or small, can recruit talents. In the Free City, there are strong and weak people among the myriad races in the Sea Realm, and there are all kinds of techniques, so don't be afraid of being unable to recruit talents. Fire Lady frowned and said, Han Fei, this will easily create new superpowers. Han Fei smiled and said, the human race and the divine descendants will supervise the major forces. As a disciple of the Void Temple, I can supervise the human race and the divine descendants. If our Void Temple is gone, it can only be said that the myriad races have been wiped out. Han Fei laughed, and his voice spread throughout the Sea Realm for the last time. I guarantee that in the future, there will be no oppression or injustice in the Central Sea Divine Realm. Whether it's the divine race, itinerant cultivators, or even gods, you're all equal. From today on, anyone who bullies the weak will be killed. If anyone violates my will, even if he's a god, he will suffer the same punishment as ordinary people. The people of all races can supervise them. If there is any injustice, report it to the human race or the divine descendants, and I will uphold justice. At this moment, the entire Sea Realm was shocked. It could be expected that countless forces, countless itinerant cultivators, and countless talented or ambitious people would try their best to go to the Central Sea Divine Realm. However, going to the Central Sea Divine Realm from the 4 divine realms was a challenge in itself. After all, for ordinary sea establishers, they might not be able to cross a domain without hundreds of years. And how many people with poor aptitudes could come to the Central Sea Divine Realm after hundreds of years? Immediately, countless itinerant cultivators in the Sea Realm were excited. I've decided. I'm going to the Central Sea Divine Realm. Heh. Do you need to decide? We're all going. We can join in a super force at will? How can there be such a good thing in the world? A good thing? Brother, you seem to have forgotten what the human emperor just said. We only have 10,000 years. In 10,000 years, all races might be destroyed. I won't be surprised no matter what happens now. By the way, what is the ominous? Ominous. It's said to be a terrifying enemy. What's the difference between telling me and not telling me? What's the rush? Since the human emperor has already said such a secret, there should be a detailed explanation later. Otherwise, 9 out of 10 people don't know. It's meaningless for him to say this. However, the divine demon forest and the other forces were really too ridiculous. How could they not reveal anything about this matter that concerns the survival of the myriad races? What kind of super forces are they? Heh. Otherwise, why do you think human emperor attacked the Central Sea divine realm? For a moment, the entire sea realm was talking about Han Fei, what Han Fei said, and yearned for the free city. In the chaotic wasteland, Gu Tingnan sighed when he heard Han Fei's crazy plan. Duan Qingxi sighed. I didn't expect him to reach this height in just a 1,000 years. Gu Tingnan also sighed. Perhaps this is what the real human emperor is like. I've decided to migrate the entire city of wanderers to the Central Sea divine realm. Hundreds of billions of human beings felt honored at this moment. In the past, they were still weaklings who were slaughtered by others at will. It was precisely because of Han Fei that they fought their way out and held up a world. At this moment, he actually changed the layout of the entire sea realm alone. Han Fei's image in everyone's hearts was no longer as simple as being great. He was an incomparable existence that was really respected as a god. At this moment, the 80 million humans in the Central Sea divine realm felt their blood boiling. Next to Han Chani, Zhang Panpan exclaimed, "So cool. Uncle Human Emperor is so cool. He rewrote an era. He created a new era." Wang Xiaxia's face was also full of admiration. Since the moment Han Fei taught her the giant beast divine Tao, she had begun to worship Han Fei. She didn't expect the person she worshipped to be so great. Han Chani opened her mouth. Although she felt very proud too, she didn't want to admit it. Shouldn't you be worried about 10,000 years from now? Didn't he say that there are only 10,000 years left for the infinite ocean? Zhang Panpan said without any scruples, "What are you afraid of?" With Uncle Human Emperor, even if 8 or 10 ominous come, it won't be a problem. Han Chani. At this moment, after speaking to the myriad races in the infinite ocean, under the gaze of countless people and divine descendants, Han Fei stepped into the air and walked towards the hundreds of thousands of heavenly talents. In the blink of an eye, he turned into a huge Dharma idol that was 330,000 feet tall. In the infinite sea of stars, there are countless strong masters fighting and bathing in blood just to protect the myriad races. You are talented, but you don't want to improve, but mess around in the Central Sea divine realm all day long. The world you have seen is only this big. I'll give you 2 choices. The first is to embark on a journey to the ominous battlefield. However, you people won't help the Star Sea battlefields much. The second choice is that there are countless itinerant cultivators in this world who can't find a path of cultivation or advancement, but their aptitude and potential are not bad. You can stay in the Central Sea divine realm and teach them. I'll give you a 100 seconds to make a choice. Half of the students present were talented itinerant cultivators. Because of various coincidences, they had passed one trial after another before coming to the Primordial Divine Academy. At this moment, Han Fei's words reminded many people of the situation when they were still itinerant cultivators. They were really struggling on the verge of death. Besides, Han Fei was obviously biased towards itinerant cultivators, which made them have a good impression of him. They actually felt that it wasn't bad. Immediately, someone stood up. I'm willing to stay and preach. Me too. Me too. Compared to setting foot in the sea of stars at this moment, these students still knew their position. It was very dangerous to embark on the journey of the Sea of Stars. If the free city that Han Fei mentioned was really built in the sea realm, it would definitely be a flourishing era. At that time, not only would they teach, but they would also see all kinds of cultivation methods, secret techniques, and divine techniques in the infinite ocean. No matter how they looked at it, it was more comfortable to stay in the Central Sea Divine Realm. At this moment, the remaining students also stood up. They were originally heavenly talents from small and medium-sized forces. After entering the Primordial Divine Academy, they were still inferior to the disciples of those major forces. Now, they seemed to see a chance to change their fate. How could they give it up? Senior brother Lei Heng felt a headache. A new era has been opened. Little junior brother never fails to surprise me. Senior brother Six God said, this is why senior sister Shen Le asked little junior brother, instead of the two of us to unify the sea realm. After all, the human race is more experienced in unifying the myriad races. At this moment, Han Fei looked at the two of them and said, Senior brother Six God, please do me another favor. The construction of this free city is too huge. I want this city to be 10 times or even 100 times larger than the Divine Capital Dynasty, so I need the help of the insect clan. Senior brother Six God nodded. No problem, but it can't be only us. There are so many forces in the Central Sea Divine Realm. Every force has to contribute. Han Fei smiled. Of course. With that, Han Fei looked at Lei Heng, only to see that Lei Heng's expression changed drastically. He said in advance, little junior brother, I suddenly remembered that I have something to do. You go about your business. I'm leaving. Boom. The lightning mark cut through the sky, and Lei Heng had already disappeared. Han Fei was lost for words. Actually, I just want to ask about the 12 Thunder Seal technique. Why is he running? Senior brother Six God said, let him be. That's his personality. Another moment later, Han Xian asked, what? I can't even handle the human race. You want me to manage the free city? Hong Yu waved his hand quickly. Master Human Emperor, we can't do it. We've just become monarchs. How can we suppress so many powerful figures? Han Fei said, if I say you can do it, you can. The Divine Capital Dynasty. The Phoenix Divine Race, the Ferocious God Valley, and the North Sea Insect Clan will send their top powerhouses to help you govern the free city. They are all our allies. What are you afraid of? Fire Lady giggled. The Phoenix Divine Race is in charge of the South Sea. Anyway, you don't have to feel burdened. When the time comes, our race will send some disciples who are not very strong but are definitely capable of helping you. The crown prince of the divine capital dynasty said, the laws of the divine capital dynasty are well developed, and there are many people who are good at legislation. When the time comes, the divine capital dynasty will be responsible for making laws and rules of the free city. Besides, the insect clan is spread throughout the 5 seas. When the free city is officially built, it will be easy for the laws to spread to the 5 seas. Han Xian said, that's easy to say, but when the myriad races in the infinite ocean are united, there will definitely be pros and cons. With more people, there will definitely be more conflicts. I'm just afraid that it will be chaotic. At this time, Luo Xiaobai said, as long as there is no chaos in the free city, it's fine. As for outside the free city, they can fight at will. The fiercer the battle, the better. Only in troubled times can heroes appear. Otherwise, why would we need a golden age? Han Fei couldn't help but smile. Xiaobai knows me best. Okay, Uncle Xian, you can make a plan for this matter. There's one last place in the Central Sea. Divine Realm. I have to go there. Huh? Everyone looked at Han Fei. Han Fei said, it's time to go to the divine beasts and ferocious beasts. In the Central Sea Divine Realm, there was such a special place called the Sea of Strange Beasts. The periphery of the Sea of Strange Beasts was specially open to the super forces of the Central Sea Divine Realm. Why was it opened? It was actually to let the heavenly talents of the major forces in the Central Sea Divine Realm hunt and tame the beasts they caught as mounts. It was precisely because they sent some mounts to those major forces that the primordial strange beasts obtained a good status in the Central Sea Divine Realm. After all, although they didn't have gods, there were many monarchs among the divine beasts and ferocious beasts. The Emperor Sparrow stood on Han Fei's shoulder. When he appeared in the sea of strange beasts, countless ferocious beasts immediately ran into the depths of the Sea of Strange Beasts in fright. They didn't interfere in the affairs of the Central Sea Divine Realm, but it didn't mean that they didn't know. In the past month, the Central Sea Divine Realm had been fighting crazily, and the rain of blood had never stopped. Now that these 2 killing gods had appeared in the Sea of Strange Beasts, how could ordinary ferocious beasts not be afraid? Han Fei scanned around with his perception. The divine beasts and the ferocious beasts live in the same sea area. Wouldn't they go crazy fighting? The Emperor Sparrow said lazily, if they fight too many times, they won't be so crazy. The ferocious beasts are the same as the divine beasts. On both sides, their realms are limited to the peak of the great monarch realm. If they really fight to the death, both sides will suffer heavy losses. Therefore, the conflicts between the 2 sides are mostly for training soldiers. If I don't appear, it will be difficult for them to fight to the death. Han Fei raised his eyebrows. But you've appeared now? You still want to take ferocious beasts to destroy the divine beasts? The Emperor Sparrow shook his head slightly. There are many misunderstandings about me in history. In fact, I have never thought of destroying the divine beasts. What I want is the union of divine beasts and ferocious beasts. Han Fei was puzzled. You're just a ferocious beast. Why would divine beasts submit to you? The Emperor Sparrow tilted his head and looked at Han Fei. Aren't you here for the primordial strange beasts? Divine beasts and ferocious beasts are collectively called primordial strange beasts. And I was born their king. Forget it, it's a long story. There are some things you will find out later. Han Fei said, then let's go. Let them know that their king is back. No, wait for half an hour. Huh? After half an hour. Without the guidance of the Emperor Sparrow, Han Fei only needed to follow the footsteps of some ferocious beasts and quickly came to the depths of the sea. Of strange beasts. It was a group of islands formed by tens of thousands of islands. At this moment, Han Fei perceived that outside the largest island, millions of ferocious beasts had already gathered. Some were standing on the islands, and some were flying in the sky, all looking in the direction where Han Fei and the others came. As soon as Han Fei and the Emperor Sparrow appeared, they saw that the bird-type ferocious beasts in the sky had landed on the ground. Then, the ferocious beasts prostrated on the ground in unison and shouted, "Welcome back, Your Majesty." The Emperor Sparrow's voice was cold and aloof. They are controlled by the Central Sea Divine Realm. How can they mobilize on a large scale on the surface? Otherwise, why do you think the divine beasts came to help me back? Then? Han Fei said, I'm still a little curious. The two divine beasts, who helped us, should be pacifists among divine beasts, right? But most divine beasts still hate you, right? The Emperor Sparrow said calmly, if I hadn't become your spiritual beast, most divine beasts would have hated me and even tried their best to kill me. Han Fei was stunned. Did their hatred for you disappear after you became my spiritual beasts? No, they're just wavering. Wavering? The Emperor Sparrow didn't continue to answer Han Fei, because the two of them had already arrived in front of this huge island. At the forefront of countless ferocious beasts was an ancient dragon elephant. The giant elephant's eyes were red, and two fangs were rolled up at the corner of its mouth, but its long nose was like a centipede's limb, except that it was circular and looked quite strange. Furthermore, the fur on the ancient dragon elephant's body was very short, and many dark patterns appeared on its body. Even its feet were very strange. They didn't look like the big footprints of ordinary giant elephants, but a little like bear claws, but thicker. On the back of the ancient dragon elephant was a woman in a snow-white cloak. The woman maintained her human form, but four curved red horns grew on her head like a crown, and her silver hair fluttered in the wind. At her waist there was a long whip of extraordinary quality. Han Fei landed and looked at the woman. The snow-white cloak on the woman suddenly unfolded, and Han Fei was stunned. It turned out to be a pair of wings that looked like a cloak. Then, the woman got down and knelt on one knee. Chu Tianxue, the current leader of the ferocious beasts, greet your majesty. The Emperor Sparrow didn't get off Han Fei, but nodded slightly. Divine Snow. Sky Phoenix, a strange beast with a bloodline ranking in the top 10 among the primordial strange beasts. Everyone, get up. Yes. As Chu Tianxue stood up, the million ferocious beasts behind her all stood up. Some were tall, and some were short. However, they all looked ferocious. No matter how one looked at them, they looked as if they had mutated before. This mutation was a little similar to the kind of mutation that walked the Tao of extreme balance. Only a few looked more harmonious. However, these ferocious beasts certainly didn't take the Tao of extreme balance. The Emperor Sparrow finally spread his wings and soared into the sky. Black clouds filled the sky and gathered into a terrifying black divine hawk that spanned tens of thousands of kilometers. My clansmen, I'm back. Roar. Roar. Emperor Sparrow, Emperor Sparrow, Emperor Sparrow. Instantly, on the entire island and the surrounding tens of thousands of islands, countless ferocious beasts roared crazily. 10,000 beasts roared at the same time, and the sky changed color. Many ferocious beasts even shouted, "Kill all the divine beasts! Your Majesty! We shall kill them all in this life. We are willing to follow you to wipe out the divine beasts. Kill all the divine beasts, kill all the divine beasts." After greeting the Emperor Sparrow, countless ferocious beasts immediately boiled with blood and wanted to start a war. "Be quiet." As soon as the Emperor Sparrow spoke, the 10,000 beasts hurriedly stopped talking. Emperor Sparrow said, "I'm no longer alone. I'm not back to eliminate the divine beasts, but to subdue the divine beasts and break the causal curse of the ominous. I'll help you reach the God realm and make primordial strange beasts reappear." Buzz. What? Is it possible? Can we break the cause curse? Should we have a try? Immediately, a ferocious beast shouted, "Your Majesty, you can completely sweep through the divine beasts like the human emperor destroyed his enemy. As long as all the divine beasts die, we can also break the cause and effect curse." That's right. Master Emperor Sparrow, we are like fire and water with the divine beasts. How can we fuse again? Master Emperor Sparrow, you've tried many times, but you still haven't realized that it's impossible? The Emperor Sparrow's divine might descended, and he shouted loudly, "I'm sure you've heard what the human emperor said. There are only 10,000 years left for this vast sea of stars. It's time for the battle between ferocious beasts and divine beasts to come to an end. I've witnessed the death of countless ferocious beasts, and my hands have been stained with the blood of countless divine beasts. But don't forget, who made you turn from primordial strange beasts into ferocious beasts? It's ominous. We should have a unified enemy, which is ominous. Otherwise, there is no difference between divine beasts and ferocious beasts in this world. I want to prove to this world that I, the Emperor Sparrow, am the king of strange beasts and not the embodiment of the ominous. I will also clear the name of ferocious beasts. We are not ferocious beasts, but primordial strange beasts with noble identities and pure bloodlines. Countless ferocious beasts roared crazily. As for the black clouds in the sky, they slowly dissipated, and the Emperor Sparrow had already turned into a human form. It was a thin young man with fierce eyes and a proud face. The Emperor Sparrow, who was wearing a black feathered cloak, raised his hand and roared, "Divine Monarch Spear!" Buzz. Among the tens of thousands of islands, on an island, the earth was shaking, and the surrounding seawater rose to the sky. Bang! A black gold spear drilled through the island, blooming with world-shaking divine light in the void. In the next moment, it shattered the void and instantly rushed at the Emperor Sparrow. He took the spear with one hand, and a giant eagle phantom flashed behind him. The Emperor Sparrow held the spear horizontally in front of him, gently stroked the spear, and sighed. "Old friend, long time no see." As an outsider, Han Fei witnessed the return of the Emperor Sparrow, and wondered what the cause and effect curse the Emperor Sparrow mentioned was. From what the Emperor Sparrow said, this causal curse seemed to come from the ominous. Could it be a more powerful curse than the one on the dragon race? It already involved a causal problem. Besides, the ferocious beasts seemed to have a deep hatred for divine beasts. They even knew that the way to become gods was to slaughter all divine beasts. But what did the Emperor Sparrow mean by subduing divine beasts? At this moment, the Emperor Sparrow landed on the ground again and looked at Chu Tianxue. "Can you understand me?" Chu Tianxue nodded. I can understand, but are you sure you can do it in this life? Even if the divine beasts know that you are the human emperor's spiritual beast, they will choose to acknowledge you. However, our ferocious beasts and divine beasts have been at odds for too long. I'm afraid it won't be easy to unite all the beasts. The Emperor Sparrow said calmly, 1,000 years. If I can't completely subdue the divine beasts within 1,000 years, I'll slaughter them. Hearing this, Chu Tianshua's eyes lit up and she shouted, the ferocious beasts are willing to follow our monarch. Roar. The elephant cry spread throughout the ferocious beasts. As soon as Chu Tianxue expressed her stance, all the ferocious beasts shouted. Again, we are willing to follow our king. Han Fei seemed to have underestimated the prestige of the Emperor Sparrow. Emperor Sparrow must have never been to the Sea of Strange Beasts, so it didn't seem reasonable that the entire ferocious beast race submitted to him. As soon as he showed up, after the Emperor Sparrow pacified the ferocious beasts, Chu Tianxue and several top powerhouses of the ferocious beasts who had surpassed the extreme Dao briefly introduced the current ferocious beasts, divine beasts, and the specific situation with the major forces in the Central Sea divine realm. Han Fei said, have you ever thought of nurturing some gods yourself? I think you can do it. Of course, but we are in the Central Sea divine realm. Do you think those forces in the Central Sea divine realm will allow us to nurture gods? That's true. Chu Tianxue said, since the Age of Doom, we haven't started a real war with the divine beasts. It's all because of the oppression of the Central Sea divine realm. They want us to provide them with mounts, but they don't want us to rebel to affect the Central Sea divine realm, nor do they want us to break free from their control, so they placed us in this sea of strange beasts. The Emperor Sparrow asked, how many people are there in the ferocious beast lineage, and how many monarchs are there? Han Fei was shocked to hear that. More than 80,000 monarchs? What kind of race was this? Why were there so many monarchs? Even if most of them were sent out, there were still more than 1,000 monarch realm ferocious beasts. If it weren't for the fact that there were no gods guarding them, they should be the number one force in the sea realm. However, the Emperor Sparrow frowned. So few strong masters? Han Fei was lost for words. So few? Chu Tianxue said, there are indeed few. The growth of strange beasts is not slow in the first place. But it's not that we can't give birth to more strong masters, but that the Sea of Strange Beasts is the most barren place in the Central Sea divine realm. Even if it's so barren, half of the resources we collect will be given to those major forces. Therefore, our growth is very slow. Of course, it's the same for the divine beasts. The strong masters of the Central Sea divine realm deliberately let the ferocious beasts and divine beasts maintain a balance. The Emperor Sparrow couldn't help but look at Han Fei. When needed, I need to recall all the strong masters of the ferocious beasts and divine beasts who are fighting in the Sea of Stars. Immediately, Chu Tianxue and the other ferocious beasts looked at Han Fei. This was not a small matter. Could Han Fei do it? Han Fei asked, do they have to return? The Emperor Sparrow said, if they want to become a god, they have to return. Han Fei, okay. Han Fei agreed without hesitation. He was confident that with the influence of the Void Temple, this could be done. It had to be known that if these 80,000 people returned, they could become gods. Even if 70 to 80% of them died during the divine tribulation, 20,000 gods could be born. How could this be a joke? 20,000 gods and 80,000 great monarchs. The strong masters in the sea of stars certainly knew which to choose. Chu Tianxue and the others were all relieved. It was good that they could return. If the Emperor Sparrow could succeed this time, strange beasts might really be able to reappear in this world. Han Fei suddenly said, "Now you should tell me what's going on between you. Ferocious beasts and divine beasts, right? I'm still confused. If you can make strange beasts reappear and make them become gods, why didn't you do it in your previous lives? After all, who can resist the temptation of becoming gods? Master Human Emperor doesn't know?" Chu Tianxue and the others seemed a little surprised, seeing Han Fei return. With the Emperor Sparrow, they thought that Han Fei knew everything. The Emperor Sparrow said, It's time to tell you. First of all, there are no Emperor Sparrows in the previous lives. The Emperor Sparrow in every life is me." "What?" Han Fei was stunned. He couldn't help but remember that old Yuan said that in every life, only one Emperor Sparrow would be born at the same time. He thought that it was because the Emperor Sparrow was special, but he didn't expect that they were all the same person. Han Fei was stunned. "So, how long have you lived? Why did you become my spiritual beast?" "When I was young, I was terrifyingly weak." "How did you know that I would come to this point?" The Emperor Sparrow said, "That's a long story. Let me tell you, slowly." The Emperor Sparrow's voice was low and cold, as if he was stiffly telling a story that had nothing to do with him. "Defeat the ominous?" The Emperor Sparrow continued, "The ominous is scheming. Knowing that my father was powerful, he personally came down and secretly contaminated my mother, but she didn't know it herself. On the day I was born, my mother turned into an ominous body, and the entire race was shocked. Countless strange beasts witnessed that. My father had no choice but to kill my mother. However, now that my mother had turned into an ominous body, how could he stay out of it? Later, he found that he was actually contaminated by the ominous as well and was beyond recovery. Therefore, he chose to purify himself and burn everything. He could no longer reincarnate or revive and truly died. But he didn't kill me. Guess why? Han Fei didn't come back to himself until a few seconds later. He didn't expect the ominous to be so strange as to force one of the strongest powerhouses in the chaotic era to purify himself with this method. Taking a deep breath, Han Fei said, "You're his son. He probably doesn't want to do it himself." The Emperor Sparrow raised his head slightly. "That's right. He didn't want to do it himself. But there were countless strong masters in the primordial strange beast race back then. How could they allow my existence? Especially when I was born, I swallowed all the ominous power of my mother. If it were you, what would you do?" "I'll purify you." This kind of creature born from an ominous body could swallow the ominous. Its first reaction was naturally to purify it. The Emperor Sparrow said, "That's right." At that time, the strong masters of the primordial strange beasts thought so too. However, perhaps the ominous itself didn't expect it. My birth was an exception. I could be considered to have half an ominous body, so even if I was burned up, I could actually revive. In addition, I had half of the normal bloodline of strange beasts, so some of me wasn't afraid of purification. However, at that time everyone only felt that I was more difficult to deal with, a stronger ominous body. Therefore, they forcibly burned me up with powerful means. Chu Tianxue also sighed slightly. Perhaps because this matter was too sad. The Emperor Sparrow looked at Han Fei. You know that I can swallow all the evil in the world, right? Han Fei nodded. This was a born talent of the Emperor Sparrow. The Emperor Sparrow continued calmly, after my parents and I died, the ominous bared its fangs and stopped lurking, launching a war against the primordial strange beast lineage. Although it was quickly saved by the other strong clans of the primordial 6 lineages, at that time many people had already been secretly contaminated. Many people were becoming the ominous. For a moment, the primordial strange beast lineage seemed to be facing doomsday. Everyone was filled with hatred, and many people were contaminated by the ominous and attacked their own kind. Under the influence of the evil in the world, I revived. So? Even if you revive, so what? The Emperor Sparrow said leisurely, I can devour the ominous in their bodies and make them return to normal. When I revived, they didn't know that it was me. They thought that some kind of divine fetus was born in their race that could devour and purify the ominous. It wasn't until I was reborn that they knew that it was me. Therefore, they hesitated about whether to purify me or not. As for me, I'm still young, so I naturally helped them devour the ominous. Some of them who were contaminated recovered well and maintained their original holy state. The other portion was contaminated heavily and mutated. Although the ominous power was swallowed by me, it couldn't return to normal. Furthermore, those who mutated were indeed more cruel and extremely ferocious. However, the danger of their race was temporarily resolved. And because I didn't become the ominous, I was worshipped as the new king and successfully grew up. At this moment, Han Fei found that Chu Tianxue and the others didn't look good. There were even ferocious beasts who gritted their teeth, clenched their fists, and shouted in a low voice, "Damn the divine beasts. What a bunch of hypocritical guys." The Emperor Sparrow glanced at him, and the man hurriedly shut up. The Emperor Sparrow said, those who had returned to normal felt that there was still an ominous aura in their bodies and wanted to destroy them, so they set up an ambush, trying to get rid of all the mutated strange beasts in one fell swoop. It was also on that day that I awakened the Eye of Disaster and attracted the ominous. Han Fei's pupils were constricted slightly. What happened next? The Emperor Sparrow also took a deep breath and closed his eyes, as if recalling. The ominous this time is just the remnant of the first time. It just hid. After killing some strange beasts, it was quickly repelled by the joint efforts of the first generation of major forces. However, the ominous hid among the primordial strange beasts for too long. During this period, a causal curse was set up. The curse is that if the strange beasts don't unify, they will never be able to transcend the tribulation and become gods. This is a curse engraved in their bloodline, just like how the dragon race will always be hungry. The dragon race's initial situation was no better than the primordial strange beasts, but their curse was half broken. Otherwise, they would be as miserable as our ferocious beasts and divine beasts now. Han Fei finally understood why the ferocious beasts and divine beasts couldn't become gods. The ominous scheme had actually succeeded. The ominous didn't destroy them directly because it knew that the ancient 6 lineages couldn't be destroyed. However, setting up karma so that they couldn't become gods was equivalent to eliminating one lineage. What was the difference between an ancient 6 lineages that couldn't become gods and trash to it? As for the ferocious beasts' union, it was almost impossible. The Emperor Sparrow summoned the ominous on the spot. Although it was forced, it almost directly caused a greater crisis. Who dared to serve an Emperor Sparrow who could summon the ominous? Even if it were Han Fei, his first reaction would definitely be to kill him. The Emperor Sparrow said, "The primordial strange beasts couldn't tolerate me, let alone the others. Therefore, it seemed only natural that I died again. And because the ambush of those normal strange beasts was the fuse that caused this matter, 2 factions appeared among the primordial strange beasts based on whether they had mutated or not. One claimed to be creation divine beasts, and the other was called primordial fierce beasts. Furthermore, the creation divine beast firmly believed that there must be ominous residue in the bodies of the primordial fierce beasts, because at that time the ominous had done many things, and everyone was afraid. Many years later, I revived again. At that time, I knew that I was immortal. Only I knew that all of this was a misunderstanding. I wanted to make things clear to the divine beasts and ferocious beasts. However, at that time, there was a saying among the divine beasts. Once the divine beasts submitted to me, I would obtain supreme power and become a true ominous. Therefore, I was killed again. Han Fei couldn't help but click his tongue. The Emperor Sparrow's background was really tragic. Compared to the Emperor Sparrow, Han Fei immediately felt that old Han and his mother were very good parents. Han Fei asked, "Then you started a war after you were resurrected?" The Emperor Sparrow sneered. "Of course. You've been killed so many times, but you can still maintain a kind heart?" I was no longer kind in my previous life, and was determined to suppress the divine beasts by force, so I launched a war between divine beasts and ferocious beasts. However, no matter how many times I revived, the other party had thousands of means, and their ultimate goal was to kill me. Therefore, it was actually very difficult for me to escape the pursuit of so many strong masters. After all, I couldn't become a god. But there were many gods back then. However, the more I died, the more everyone realized one thing. Anyone who killed me would go crazy, die suddenly, be demonized, and so on. In short, they all died. That's why everyone said that anyone who killed the Emperor Sparrow will die. I think it must be that the evil of the world I absorbed had been transferred to them. I see. Han Fei couldn't help but click his tongue. Then why did you come to me in this life? The Emperor Sparrow said indifferently, at the end of the primordial era, I died once and embarked on the path of reincarnation. Because of my specialness, the path of reincarnation couldn't seal my memories. However, that time I encountered your mother stealing the path of reincarnation, but she was seriously injured by the master of the path of reincarnation. I took the opportunity to leave a unique mark on your mother. I originally wanted to possess you, but your parents were too strong. In fact, they had long discovered the mark I left. It wasn't until your mother gave birth to you and touched my mark. I tried to possess you, and then, as you should know, I naturally failed. However, they gave me another choice, which was to become your spiritual beast. Han Fei raised his eyebrows. My parents believed you? The Emperor Sparrow, your father is the smartest person I've ever seen. Han Fei grinned. So, you actually knew some of my father's plans, right? And then you kept pretending to be deaf and mute? The Emperor Sparrow said, I don't know what the exact trap is, but I know that they have set up many means. When I saw the demon purification pot on you, I knew that I would subdue the divine beasts in this life. After all, if I am really the embodiment of the ominous, how can the owner of the demon purification pot, the dignified human emperor and a disciple of the void temple, collude with the ominous? Han Fei couldn't help but sigh. Therefore, he picked up a unique ominous body in the entire sea realm. Chu Tianxue said, actually, His Majesty has explained these things to the divine beasts many times. However, they viewed His Majesty as a bad person, so they will only see the strangeness in His Majesty. However, with the help of the human emperor, they have no reason to doubt him anymore. Han Fei said, I didn't expect me to have such a function. Then what should I do now? Should I go to the divine beasts? The Emperor Sparrow said, you just need to go through the motions with me. Then you can do what you want. I need to stay here for a while. After all, I've been enemies with the divine beasts for too long. Some things won't be resolved immediately because of your appearance. It takes time for divine beasts to return to their hearts. Han Fei shrugged. Okay. It just so happens that I have something very important to do. I hope that by the time I return, you will have subdued the divine beasts. Yes. By the way, the river of eternal darkness suits your eternal darkness spiritual heritage very well. You can try to stay inside for a while longer. The divine beasts. The return of the Emperor Sparrow had naturally been known by the divine beasts. From the moment Han Fei swept across the Central Sea divine realm, they had already known that this moment would come. At this moment, a group of divine beasts at the peak of the great monarch realm were arguing. A divine beast shouted, just because I approve of the human emperor doesn't mean I approve of the Emperor Sparrow. The war between divine beasts and ferocious beasts has lasted for several eras without compromise. Do we have to compromise just because he has become the human emperor's spiritual beast? Another divine beast argued, this is not a matter of compromise. The problem is why the human emperor approves of the Emperor Sparrow. The human emperor is the current owner of the demon purification pot, a disciple of the void temple, a disciple of the creation divine prison, and a pure descendant of the ancient human race. How can he collude with the ominous? Are the void temple and the demon purification pot blind? A divine beast said, perhaps the human emperor was also deceived. Perhaps he doesn't know that the Emperor Sparrow can summon the ominous. But don't forget, without the Emperor Sparrow, the lineage of strange beasts might have been severed back then. There might not be any divine beasts or ferocious beasts in this world at all. That again. But the Emperor Sparrow led ferocious beasts to fight against our divine beasts for 2 eras. It's true, right? Think about it, how many divine beasts have died at his hands? Don't you know the cause of the incident? The group of divine beasts were arguing fiercely. Buzz. At this moment, the arguing divine beast great monarchs all shut up and looked at the void at the same time. The void opened, and the Emperor Sparrow, Han Fei, and Chu Tianxue walked out. When the divine beasts saw the Emperor Sparrow, their hearts skipped a beat. Some divine beasts were even full of hostility. Among the divine beasts, a white deer that emitted a faint divine light walked out and transformed into a handsome man in white. The current patriarch of the divine beast lineage, Yan Longshire, greets human emperor. Yan Longshire just nodded at Han Fei and ignored the Emperor Sparrow and Chu Tianxue. After that, Yan Longshire looked straight at the Emperor Sparrow. Emperor Sparrow, long time no see. The Emperor Sparrow snorted. Why? Do you still want to fight me in this life? Yan Longshire said calmly, if the divine beasts don't want to recognize you as their king, what should you do? The Emperor Sparrow said, kill them all. Humph. How arrogant. Sure enough, you still haven't given up. Emperor Sparrow, I won't submit to you. If you have the ability, you can kill me now. Shut up. Hearing Yan Longshire's roar, the group of divine beasts shut up resentfully. Yan Longshire looked at Han Fei. Master Human Emperor, do you have anything to say? Han Fei said calmly, I've already known all the old grudges between the divine beasts and the ferocious beasts. I won't talk about who's right and who's wrong today. However, now that the Emperor Sparrow is my spiritual beast, I'll tell you in the name of the human emperor that I believe in the Emperor Sparrow. Now that the catastrophe has descended, there's no time for the myriad races in the infinite ocean. Compared to the real ominous, I suggest you divine beasts unify with the ferocious beasts. Now the Central Sea divine realm will no longer restrict you, snatch your resources, or tame you as mounts. Once the strange beast race revives, I believe that within 10,000 years, there can be 100,000 gods. Han Fei paused. If the divine beasts don't even trust me and insist on continuing to fight the ferocious beasts, I will respect the Emperor Sparrow's opinion and kill you all. When the words kill you all popped up, the group of divine beasts glared at Han Fei. Roar. Some divine beast roared, and soul sounds resounded. Humph. Han Fei pressed down with one hand, and everyone felt as if a mountain was pressing on their shoulders. Blood oozed out of the corner of the mouth of the roaring divine beast. Han Fei said calmly, you don't have to look at me like that. I'm here this time to be a witness for the divine beasts and the ferocious beasts. Within 1,000 years, I won't interfere, but divine beasts and ferocious beasts are not allowed to start a war. Whether the Emperor Sparrow can make you submit to him or not is between him and you. I'm a straightforward person and don't have much time to waste with anyone. I think you've seen the battle in the Central Sea divine realm. Even if it's the ancient 6 lineages, I'll kill them if they stand in my way. Yan Longshire didn't show any anger. He just said calmly, we divine beasts have known what the human emperor means. Does the human emperor still want to stay as a guest? The corners of Han Fei's mouth curled up slightly. Chase me away? Fine, it's the Emperor Sparrow's family matter after all. I'll leave everything to him. Han Fei said indifferently, I won't interfere in your family matters. I only care about the results. However, if anyone dares to plot against the Emperor Sparrow while I'm away, I will show the divine beasts my methods. Then, Han Fei looked at the Emperor Sparrow. Be quick. With that, Han Fei's figure disappeared. Without interfering in the matter of the primordial strange beasts, Han Fei returned to the old site of the Primordial Divine Academy immediately. The battlefield was still being cleaned up, so most people hadn't left yet. Although the Central Sea Divine Realm had changed to a new world, there were still many local battles in the 4 divine realms, which required a process. But Han Fei had no time to care about these things for the time being. He had wanted to step down as the human emperor after this battle, but this was a critical period for the human race to enter the Central Sea Divine realm. Having him as the human emperor was completely different from not having him. Therefore, he couldn't step down as the human emperor until the free city was built. Han Fei immediately found Yulinka. They found a deserted place, guarded by Han Fei, Qiu Wanren, Old Fierce, and Yulinka opened the treasure. When a towering divine treasure mountain that stretched for thousands of kilometers and was almost entirely made of divine crystals appeared in front of him, even Han Fei, who had seen a lot of things, couldn't help but be stunned. How many resources could such a huge divine crystal be counted as? Countless blood-colored patterns were branded on the divine mountain. Qiu Wanren said, myriad god blood seal? The person who set up this divine treasure mountain is actually a dominator. Why didn't I know that there was a dominator in our lineage? Old Fierce eyes lit up. Perhaps we didn't know because we were locked up in the creation divine prison earlier. However, if you have enough divine treasures, I want to take some to restore my strength. Yulinka said, of course. If Patriarch Wu can recover, you will be the peak combat power of our divine descendant. You might even be able to become a dominator. I'll certainly do my best to help you. Old Fierce shook his head slightly. I dare not say that I can definitely become a dominator. Han Fei also coveted it a little. How can you enter this divine treasure mountain? Yulinka was surrounded by tokens branded with blood-colored runes. As the tokens fused, they turned into a Dao pattern door and were branded on her divine treasures. In the next moment, a door opened. When they stepped in, Han Fei felt that his body was spontaneously and quickly absorbing the energy. Old Fierce took a deep breath and a surging energy tide entered his body. He looked very comfortable. Han Fei scanned around with his perception and found that this was an origin ground. Yes, it was an origin ground. There was almost a universe in this place. It was billions of kilometers wide and almost everywhere was magical spiritual fruits and spiritual herbs. Besides, there were no intelligent races here, so everything was extremely primitive and hadn't been destroyed. In the sky, rivers of stars flowed. Those stars were all refined stars. Hiss. Han Fei couldn't help taking a breath. How many refined stars are there? Qiu Wanren couldn't help but sigh. At the end of the primordial era, too many strong masters died, just like the infinite stars in the sea of stars. I think these should be mostly refined stars of the strong masters who died in the past, right? Old Fierce was also shocked. How many are there? Qiu Wanren shook his head and said, these refined stars seem to be a lot, but look at the spiritual plants here. They are all ancient spiritual creatures that have grown for tens of millions of years. There must be resources and energy to promote their growth, right? Therefore, after so long, the resources contained in these refined stars should have been greatly reduced. Suddenly, Han Fei and the others all felt that there seemed to be creatures moving here. When they looked over, they found that some spiritual plants that had turned into energy seemed to be deliberately covering themselves. Qiu Wanren said, it's the spirit of plants and trees. I noticed it just now. There are a large number of spirits of plants and trees hidden here. In this era, it's rare to still see spirits of plants and trees. Han Fei, you've made a fortune. Han Fei was puzzled. What is the spirits of plants and trees? Qiu Wanren said indifferently, after a long period of energy absorption, it usually takes at least 100,000 years for a demon of plants and trees to be born in it. It takes 1,000,000 years for a demon of plants and trees to have a certain probability of becoming a spirit of plants and trees. A newborn spirit of plants and trees is not a complete spiritual body. It will take at least millions of years for it to become a real mature spirit of plants and trees. And the effect of a plant spirit. Let me put it this way, the probability of a peak-level great monarch successfully transcending a divine tribulation will increase by 30% with the help of a spirit of plants and trees. And if an ordinary person takes a spirit of plants and trees, he can directly transform into an innate spiritual body, and his aptitude will be 1,000 times or 10,000 times higher than ordinary people. At the same time, it's a healing medicine that can heal the hidden injuries in his body. For example, if Chu Hao takes a spirit of plants and trees, the countless hidden injuries in his body can be washed away by 80%. If he takes 2, his aptitude might even increase. Hiss. Han Fei couldn't help being shocked. Increasing the probability of transcending the tribulation by 30% was already unbelievable. It could even fundamentally rebuild the spiritual heritage. He suspected that there were no 2 such treasures in the entire sea realm. Swish. Han Fei reached out and took it. It was a divine willow. When Han Fei grabbed it, the willow branches rolled towards Han Fei's void hand and wrapped it with all their strength, crushing Han Fei's void hand. Huh? You're not weak. Qiu Wanren said, it's his autonomous consciousness attacking. It's like a passive barrier. With a thought from Han Fei, the immortal slaying knife shot out, and countless willow threads were broken. In the end, it was just a spiritual wood that instinctively protected itself. How could it resist Han Fei's real attack? Swish. As soon as the divine willow was pulled out of the ground by Han Fei, the tree dissipated and turned into a piece of divine wood that emitted a yellow-green light. Information immediately appeared in Han Fei's eyes. Name: Spirit of Plants and Trees. Introduction: It's a floral spirit born after millions of years of natural nurturing. It can revive the dead under certain conditions. It can extend the lifespan of some strong masters, modify the spiritual body and divine bloodline, heal old illnesses, and improve aptitude and potential. It can strengthen life potential for a certain period of time and promote soul and physical cultivation. The floral spirit grows a life ring every 1,000,000 years. The more life rings there are, the better the effect.